The referee has a thing on his wrist and it comes up. It'll tell him whether it was a goal or not pretty well within seconds of the ball either crossing the line or not crossing the line. That's so they've got a good setup there.
That's a bit of Thunderbird style, isn't it, that one?
Ben 10 maybe from this era.
So you touched on it briefly for our national audience who are about to depart. Adelaide have had 2 big wins in 2 recent weeks, 86 points against St Kilda and 65 points today against the Giants. Is there enough there to suggest that they're turning the corner, or are they flat track bullies a bit at the moment?
Oh, I'd probably go the latter. I think they're flat track bullies at the moment. They're going to play Western Bulldogs next week, then they play Melbourne, and then in the second part of the season, then it starts to get tough. They'll have a bye in round 8. Then you go Collingwood, Carlton, Gold Coast, Fremantle, Kangaroos, Essendon and Port. Now, that chunk of games, those 8 games in there, is going to be the serious test for Adelaide when they come. So, at the moment, first 3 games, losses, next 2 wins. The win against St Kilda was a good quality one, but I feel that they have to win the next 2. And Western Bulldogs is going to be a challenge, and that'll be a tough one. But the test will come from Adelaide in the mid part of the season.
And the debut of Tom Boyd, the number 1 draft pick, was a largely uneventful day. Too hard to draw too much criticism onto him, as the forward line alone didn't get that many opportunities.
No, they didn't get any quality opportunities. That was the thing. We look at the inside 50s. It finished up 47 Giants, 54 Adelaide. So the ball went in there enough, but just the quality of delivery. Full credit to the Adelaide defenders. They were able to get across. They were able to read the cue, read where the goal was going to kick the ball, and then peel off their immediate opponent that wasn't going to be used. And Boyd really never got the opportunity. A ball out in front that he could attack or pattern. Cameron is a little bit different because he can actually, once the ball hits the ground, he can beat his opponent back to the ball. So he's got 2 or 3 strings to his bow, where the other 2 are probably marking players, and when the ball hits the ground, they're probably out of their depth a little bit. So it wasn't the greatest debut, but he's obviously a very talented young player, and I would imagine by the end of the season he's going to start to find his feet in the game and really make an impact. But it's going to be interesting over the next few years when the Giants have 2. Patton and Boyd look very similar players, so whether they can keep those 2 players, whether they look to get rid of one of those and bring some more quality, a midfielder or whatever, into their side will be interesting to see. But to have them both there developing certainly gives them the luxury of going in with a really tall, threatening forward line.
Adelaide by 65 points. Tux, give us some of the final numbers, and then, Gemma, have you got the votes? Who's got the votes today?
Gemmo's the man.
Well, I'll let you think about that while I give you the overall disposals today. Adelaide 429 at 79% efficiency. GWS 330, so plus 99 in favour of the Crows. The marks 134 to 80 in favour of Adelaide. Contested possession plus 12 for the Crows, 129 versus 117. Clearances 40 to 31 and 21 to 11 out of the centre, both in favour of the Crows. 54 inside 50s to 47. Out of those 54 inside 50s, 32 scores for the Crows, 21 goals, 11. Pretty low tackle count, 41 for the Crows, 49 to GWS. I think, Stephen, you said pre-game 85 was their average, the Giants this season. Hit-outs 34 to 27 in favour of the Giants. Major disposal winners, the top 3 or 4 from each club. Thompson 38, Dangerfield 33 and Yench 29 for the Crows. For the Giants, Canelio 29, Green 28 and Trelaw 23. Matt?
So, Jamo, the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year.
Well, look, in the spirit of the game...
Hang on.
Or do we just go, you need to toughen up, GWS?
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing any spirit of the game when they lose by 65 points.
All right, Adam Trelaw, you are out. I'm going to go. I felt that one vote could have gone to many, many players. Here we go. I'll give it to Matt Crouch. In his first year, just his ball-winning ability in the, 3 quarters that he played, 28 disposals, and he was able to use the football at 89%. So first year, solid footy. Looked really tough. 2 votes, Scott Thompson, outstanding, 250th game. Just had a massive impact, 38 disposals, but you can't go past Patrick Dangerfield's game, the amount of football that he had. 33, 18 contested, 5 goals and 6 inside 50s.
So 3 to Dangerfield for his 5 goals, 2 to Thompson and 1 to Matt Crouch. Adelaide winners by 65 points here at the Adelaide Oval. 21-11, 137 to the Giants, 10-12, 72. We're about to head to Docklands at the MCG. It's scores level between the Suns and the Demons. 3-2-20 the Demons to the Suns, 2-8-20. In the Fed Cup, Australia were unfortunately beaten by Germany, so they're out. Angelique Kerber but defeating Sam Stozer. And halftime in the NRL, Melbourne lead Canberra 16-12. We bid you farewell from the Adelaide Oval.
Isn't it rich?
And
Are we a pair?
This Girl CD is the debut solo album from Rachel Beck, one of Australia's best loved and most prolific stage performers. Draws on hits from much loved musicals and cult songs. This Girl CD, available now from ABC shops, centres, shop online and good music shops.
Coming to you live on ABC Local Radio and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Grandstand Digital.
100% pure footy.
Pure footy. Pure footy. Grandstand AFL.
wastes no time, turns and kicks inside the attacking 50. Turns and dribbles round another goal.
Has 4 bounces, 40 metres out. He should bounce again. Doesn't have to bother. Goal. One of the highlights of the day. Reaches over the top. Palms down. He's 65 out. Launches very long. Oh, that's an unbelievable goal.
AFL.
Trying to spin his way through. Failed. Gets hold of it. He had a breathless space. He didn't waste it.
100% pure footy.
Pure footy.
No one between him and the goals is there. He barrels a long goal. He doesn't wait for the whistle. Plays on. Goes for goal and kicks a beauty from 40 metres out. Off a step. Kicks across the body and drills the goal. Gets towards goal. Swings it in for the winner. He can wheel around and just stroll in and kick a major. He's from 60. He's whacked it on a path to goal and carried the journey.
Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Grandstand Digital.
Good afternoon and welcome to Docklands in Melbourne for the game between the Western Bulldogs and Carlton. Drew Morfitt with you, Adam White, Scott West and Stan Alves. Well, this is D-Day for the Blues. It's their worst start in 25 years, having lost their first 4 games. And the Bulldogs, after a slow start, have won their last 2. Closed roof for this twilight game here, so the weather won't play any part, but what's under the jumper might play a big part.
Yeah, good afternoon, Drew. And look, this is a really interesting game of footy because I just think we all want to know how Carlton are going to respond after what's happened over the last 2 weeks. The Bulldogs have won their last 2. They've won 3 of 4 against Carlton. So the Blues are going to have to play extremely well to win. I just don't know, Scotty. I don't know because I've been so shocked with Carlton over the last 2 weeks. It wasn't what I was expecting. I don't think Carlton fans were expecting it either.
Well, I think we're all dumbfounded of where they're at the moment, Carlton. So I think that absolutely correct. We just don't know what's going to happen. The Judd factor is back. He is the sub, which is an interesting move where they believe, it's more about his presence in the team, maybe lifting others around him and just getting him out there, because I'm sure with the Achilles injury he's had, he'd be very, very much underdone. So it'd be their worst nightmare if they got an injury early. The Bulldogs, there's a lot on it for them. If they win, they're inside the 8 tonight. So, they'll want to continue it, and they've got to worry about, their processes and how they go about the game rather than where Carlton are at. So it proves to be a very interesting game.
Well, you know what? The pressure's on or off, and off the field. That's the other thing. I mean, we've got to talk about the Blues. We talk about their lineup. The critical thing is how they respond. The heat's been on Mick. There's no doubt about that. The heat's been on people behind the scenes, the board members. I don't think anybody's immune from this. But so much of the response and so much of what happens will be determined by the actions of the players on the field. That's the critical component from that point of view today. Do you know, it's not that long ago that they would have probably said, well, thank heavens we've got the Bullies because we'll rack this one up. But this is a different Bulldog side. This is a side that since halfway through the last year, when they really started to come to grips with the coach's requirements, have just gradually built and built and built. And they've gone from that thing of let's get our defensive aspects right to now all of a sudden starting to get that blend of attacking. And I just thought that in the last couple of weeks, Cranberry started to come together. Jones looks as if he almost feels it's his time and it's his place in the footy today. So they'll throw the gauntlet down, and we know they're a hard side. And for the Blues today, I think they're just going to have to play at their best. Everything's going to have to come together for them because this is a tough encounter against the Bullies.
The team news, well, it's Judd is the sub, so he comes back for his first game, but he's going to start in the vest. There is one change for the Blues, and Dylan Buckley, Jimmy's son, is out as a last-minute exclusion, and he's replaced by Simon White in the selected side. And for the Bulldogs, no change in their lineup, and once again, Daniel Giansiracusa is the sub. Westy, I reckon he must just turn up, half an hour before the game, because he's not going to get a run till three-quarter time.
Well, he started to, I think he started the last couple of games, and they said enough's enough, back to the sub. So, he's proved that he can play that role, and look, I never experienced it at all. It come after my time, but it'd be a difficult role, and he's got the maturity to be able to cope with it, and I think, as we said many weeks ago, he did it well the first time, so he got the honour of doing it a few more times.
Be very careful, don't do it too well.
Exactly.
In our pre-match, the start of the game's just over half an hour away. We'll be speaking to Carlton assistant coach Rob Wiley and Dale Morris, who unfortunately is suspended for this week after his little trip episode in Canberra last week. He's out for a week and he'll be back next week, so looking forward to talking to Rob Wiley and Dale Morris. The teams are out on the ground having their little bit of a warm-up. There should be a good crowd because surely the Bulldogs fans are buoyed by their last fortnight, and Carlton fans, I came up in the lift with a few, they stick fat, whether they're going well or not. Surely they'll be here to see them break through.
Well, it's critical that they are. Otherwise, you just start to get the reputation of fair weather supporters, and I think that's a critical component. Make no bones about it. People may say you don't know this, but if you run out in front of an empty stadium, it just doesn't do anything for you. But if you go out and there's plenty of people there, well, it just lifts you as well. The other question that I've got is that I'm going to be interested when they line up, Scotty, whether they will go with players playing in the positions that we've probably come to know, or whether Mick will say, no, I'm going to throw some things around. Players like Walker, will Walker stay down the back or will Walker go forward? I'm trying to look at their lineup and how they're just going to go with them. What will they do with a Henderson, for example, and a Simpson? What are the roles that they'd play? Because to me, it'll be interesting whether, like Mick said, they're training the house down. They're absolutely fantastic, but just how they're going to go line up. Are they going to be the same old thing as he's just thrown the gauntlet, or are they going to try something different today?
And I think that's where coaches can overcoach. I think they get too technical in trying to trick the opposition, and I think sometimes the moves are forced. Henderson, the first game I saw him play, started forward. All of a sudden the wheels fell off and he's had to go back, and ideally over pre-season, they come off 4 or 6 months of pre-season where he's probably trained forward for that entire time. All of a sudden it gets thrown out because of the situation of the game. But the predictability where players play, Simpson on a wing, Scotland on the other wing, row forward, Yarran at half back, giving him run. Let's not play around with it today. The time's coming in their season where you play the players in their best position so you can get the best performance for the team.
It's interesting, I reckon, that Scotland's is back in the side. He started the season as a rookie. He got demoted to being a rookie. And it's interesting, a bloke of his age and experience, has been around for a long, long time, that's his status in life. And I thought maybe he wouldn't get a game. He's in for the last two.
Well, and they've gone on we're rebuilding phase, and I don't know whether you rebuild with a 31 or 32, and he's a terrific player and has been for a long period of time. And but Carlton have got to make a decision. You can't be in between, because the supporters don't cop that. You can't be saying, oh, well, we're rebuilding, and then, I think he was a rookie player being elevated.
Yep.
So, surely there's... And then Buckley's out of the team. Well, he's a
21-year-old just starting his career.
And with speed, which I think they lack through the middle part of the ground, which actually might be their Achilles heel today with the speed of the Bulldogs through that part of the ground. So, I think they've got to stick strong to where they're at as a club.
Well, it's sending mixed messages, isn't it? Certainly amongst your playing group and amongst even the supporters, if you've rightly just said that you would do that. I mean, the other thing too is that I think it's always probably better that if you've got young players that you're able to say to them, we're bringing in for 3 or 4 weeks and we're going to play you in those 3 or 4 weeks. There's nothing worse than a kid coming in and all of a sudden he's out again and he's up and down. You just destroy them. You've got to send them a message that you're going to back them in from that point of view, and not because you've lost a few games that you go back and say, oh no, we'll go back because we've got to win this one. We've got to try and save this. It's what's your message, where you're at right at this point of time. I would suggest that Carlton are even even got to ask themselves, in the very, very short term, are we thinking still about finals football? We were 4 or 5 weeks ago, or we're going to have to think more importantly about building something so we can make a real stand next year.
Well, let's dive into the inner sanctum of the Blues, and we're going to speak to Rob Wiley, the assistant coach, and our man on the boundary is Martin Blake. Afternoon, mate.
Rob Wiley, thanks for joining us on ABC Grandstand. What's the week been like at Carlton? It's one of those things, isn't it?
Oh, certainly it's not the way that we planned or envisaged, the start, but the fact is we are 0-4. But, inside the club, we're still working hard. There's a lot of things that we've done right, and there's some things we've done wrong. So, the week has been a really good week on the track. There's been a lot of hard work. There's also been some education. So, the players, they've been challenged, and certainly, as I said, that how they responded. You come into this week with a lot of confidence, Martin.
Rob, you go back probably 30-odd years with Mick Malthouse. What's the old fox like when he's under the cosh like this?
Always at his best. He's had success because of the fact that he's experienced many situations, and everyone's involved in footy. You go through these momentum shifts, but Mick's been great. He's really, as I said, he's got the boys out in the track, and we've gone through a few things just to make sure that they all understand their roles. And he's certainly coaching as good as ever.
Dylan Buckley's dropped out of the selected side. Is anything wrong with him? And Simon White comes in.
It was more about team balance, and Dylan in his third year has certainly shown some fantastic sort of football, and he's going to be around for a long time. But the way it panned out, it was more for that.
Before I throw up to the box, just wanted to ask you about two players. One's Jared Waite, who you left out of the side last week. I would have thought it had been a long time since he's been dropped out of the side. Has he responded in the way that you would have liked? And the second one is Chris Judd. Was it an easy decision to run him straight back into the side, or what?
Well, Wadey, he's had a very good pre-season and hasn't quite, achieved some of the things we expect him to have done, and that's the reason why he went back to the reserves last week. But very positive that he attacked that game, and the only reason why he's back because he was able to show a great attitude, and I think you'll see Jared play a very good game today. With Juddy, it wasn't a hard decision at all.
He's obviously right, totally right.
Well, he's right on the training track. You never know until you actually get into games. But, Chris Judd is Chris Judd. And, I think the players have just sort of grown with the fact that he's back in the side.
The boys in the box might have some for you, Rob.
Rob Scott West, how are you, mate?
G'day, Scotty.
Good. Good luck today.
Thanks.
As coaches, you'd sit down, you'd drill down on, your KPIs and, where you're at in your offence and your stoppages. What's the biggest part of the game that's letting you down at the moment from that point of view?
I think probably our skill level, our ability to hit the right targets. And, you just take last week, for example, that most of the KPIs we won. So we've just got to tidy up and making sure that we make the most of our opportunities, Scotty, kicking for goals, hitting targets inside the 50 that makes an easier opportunity. And, sometimes that's just belief and a bit of confidence. So I have no doubt, the players have trained well in that area this week, that we can come out and improve in that area.
Lockie Henderson's an important player for you. Ideally, would you like to keep him forward? Obviously, you've had to shore up the back end in recent times, but is that his best position for where you want him to play?
Yeah, well, Lockie certainly proved that last year, Scott. And, it wasn't a terrific pre-season. He had a few injuries. He was a bit behind the eight ball. And as you know, the most important part of any year is the pre-season, and it just gives you a great start. I think, round 5 now that he's had those games, he certainly showed more last week. And it really depends on, I suppose, the flow of the game. If we can get enough football through the midfield, his ability to win marks and kick goals will certainly help us, and we do need to kick some more goals. But it's, at the same time, we've got the flexibility if things aren't going that well, and if he's not sort of finding the football up forward, we can throw him back, and, he reads the play so well.
Rob, Drew Morford here, mate.
Hey, Drew.
If Waite was good to come back after just 1 week, Jeffy Garlett didn't quite make it.
Well, Wadey had 5 shots on goal and took a number of marks, Drew, and Jeff didn't have any shots on goal. And, Jeff's important to us, and definitely, we need him there because he's got great speed, he's got good defensive qualities, but, we needed him to do a little bit more, and, we just can't hand games to players, we've got to make sure they earn it. And it was really pleasing today that Jeff out at Whitten Oval played really well and kicked 2 goals. So, he's put his hand up, and there are other players that, probably, sort of just ahead of him. So that's the reasoning.
Have you got enough depth that you can be doing that?
It's about setting some standards, and we still believe each week that we pick a side that's good enough to win. We felt last week there was a side good enough to win, and we feel this week that we've got a really well-balanced side.
Rob, it's Adam White upstairs. I just want to talk about Mark Murphy for a second, because there's been a lot of commentary about whether he's a good leader, whether he's not a good leader. I know internally he's very highly thought of. Can you just tell the Carlton fans as to why he's a good leader?
Look, Mark has had enormous pressure, Adam, as you ever said, and look, we're really happy with the way he's developed. He's a very caring young man inside. He's, he wants to help all the young guys. He had a bad game last week, and so the spotlight goes on to him. But we've got great faith. He is a good footballer. In fact, he is a star. And I think he'll lead. As I said, he's still learning, but he's got great support. Mick has really sort of great sort of belief in him. So today I'm sure you'll see a different Mark Murphy.
Does he have to play back into the midfield today to try and generate a little bit more ball, or will we see him play across half forward where he essentially played last week?
Well, Adam, he can play in either role, and he is a good goal kicker. He probably hasn't kicked enough goals this year, and so he again, it's like a Lockie Henderson. It's depending how the other players. There might be a few roles that result in Mark going forward, but you'll definitely see today that he'll play a mixture of both.
Okay, and finally, from myself, for the Carlton fans that are coming along today, what can you tell them that you're going to see in the first 15 minutes that's going to be different to last week? Is there a few things that you can sort of identify that that you're on if Carlton's doing the right thing?
I'd like to say, Adam, that we'll kick our goals. We've created enough opportunities, but look, it's not that we haven't practiced and given enough opportunities during the week. That becomes, once you cross that white line and the ball gets thrown up, that they've got to make those decisions and make the most of their opportunities. But what I will say is that, seeing them train and seeing their pride being really hurt over the first few weeks, that they'll come out and they'll play well together as a team. They'll certainly tackle hard, and we'll be aggressive in defence, but we'll also be aggressive, and when we get the football, that we want to use it, and we want to provide lots of opportunities for our forwards.
Good on you, Rob. Thanks for joining us on Grandstand.
Thanks, boys.
Rob Wiley there, speaking on Grandstand. Well, last week the Blues lost to Melbourne by 23 points. The D's broke their duck for the season. The week before it was an 81-point loss to the Bombers for Carlton. So the last fortnight in particular has been an absolute disaster. And Carlton aren't used to starting a season 0-4. It's their worst start for 25 years. We'll get into the doggies' den shortly with Dale Morris, but in the meantime, I think that the Gold Coast Suns have had a bit of a run at the MCG. Joe Sullivan is there for us. Joe.
Gentlemen, good afternoon to you for the first time. Well, the Suns have made a bit of a run in this second quarter. They've kicked 3 unanswered goals. They lead 5-12-42 to the Demons 3-4-22. We've played 23 minutes in this second term, so not too far away from half-time. But one word that I'd use to describe the goal kicking from both sides is straight. Just kick it straight. Chris Dawes just had a chance to get Melbourne on the scoreboard for this second quarter and sprayed it left. So they've gone goalless so far in the second quarter, the D's, and they trail by 20 points. 23 and a half minutes gone in this second term.
Wasting opportunities. The Suns 5-12-42 to 3 goals for 22. Well, Robbie Wiley, what do you make of what he said to us about what's going on at Carlton? You got to play a straight bat and talk it up, haven't you?
Didn't really give much away, did he? Look, he's in a difficult position. He's obviously a very good friend of Mixon, has been for a long time, and confident. And they've got to be positive, as positive as they can be, and they've got to, they've got to sell that to the supporters out there that are listening. And look, it's a real fine line, between good form and bad form. And, internally we don't know, they're training well. That's part of it. Obviously you train as you play, and, they need to transfer that to tonight to, give their supporters hope.
I reckon that regardless of what they say, he and the coaching panel will be just in there, just almost fingers crossed, toes crossed, just hoping that all the signs turn. And you can just imagine people in there saying, are they on? Are they on? Because already this weekend we've heard just how critical that is. None more so than the Bombers. I mean, in that situation, a game that they openly say they should have won, but the reality was they really didn't come to play. St Kilda with less talent came to play. You get the top end of the scale and you get the clash between, I would suggest, two sides who've had big plans in store at the start of the year. And I'm talking about Sydney and also Fremantle. And the reality was the toughest it was going to be, and Sydney set the scene. We've smashed him in the tackles and those type of things. You do those, get those things right, you can just build on it. But if you play fluky, hope chances, one hand out and all those other different basic types of things, I think you're in real trouble. I think I would suggest that Carlton have almost got to play kamikaze football in the first 10 or 15 minutes. They've got to get in, they've got to feel the body, they've got to crash in. They've just got to get involved in some shape or form to give themselves a chance.
So, Stan, as a coach, when your team, they've almost been shell-shocked the last 2 weeks after what happened against Essendon. I mean, they were competitive in the first couple of rounds of the season until it all unravelled. What are some of the techniques that you would suggest Mick Malthouse be doing during the week to try and remedy that issue of confidence?
I would suggest that he's got to have a lot of one-on-ones first. I think that when you're talking to the group, that's fantastic, but I think this is a real time to get round people. Just talk to them. Look, at this point of time, he should know his players well. He should know the characters. He should know he should know what are the things that you do with a person. What gets this person up? It can be those little challenges. It can be little things where you can even tell some fibs, and you never do this in league footy, but you can tell some fibs. You can tell Mark Murphy, for example, that the bullies don't rate you, mate, and they don't reckon that you go hard for the footy, but I'm backing you. It can be those little things like that you just do, but then I think also that you've got to set the guys something to do. There's some sort of indicators that we want from each and every one. So at quarter time, I'm going to come to you, and this is what I want to see from you. I don't care if you don't get a mark or a kick, but give me this, and that's all I want from you. So it becomes that, and then it's the overall team situation. But having said that, it's got to be basic. If it's based on some fantastic trick where we're going to play some game plan and do something like that, all you do at this point of time is confusion, because they, in their state of mind, I'm going to tell you, they are not receptive to mucking around type things.
The insights of Stan Alves here on Grandstand. The game about 20 minutes away between the Bulldogs and the Blues. In other sport, in the NRL, the 53-minute mark in Canberra, and the Melbourne Storm lead the Canberra Raiders 22-12. Netball full-time today. The Firebirds 55 beat the Swifts 40. And I'll whisper this, in the Federation Cup, Sam Stosur was a set-up. She lost 6-love, 6-4 from there in Australia, knocked out by Germany in the Federation Cup. Well, Dale Morris, he's out suspended this week, but he's good enough to join us on Grandstand, and here he is with Martin Blake.
Dale Morris, welcome to ABC Grandstand. You're watching this week, which you won't enjoy, but I know you can't say much about this, but what did you think of the MRP decision about your suspension?
You're right, I can't say too much about it. And yeah, it's a weird feeling coming to the game and knowing you can't be out there contributing. And but I'm looking forward to seeing how the boys are going to go tonight, and how the things we put into place and how they go about it. But yeah, the match review panel, it is what it is. We've got systems set up so situations like mine get dealt with, and cop it on the chin, and away we go.
In actual fact, I was told by someone from the club that your ankle was pretty sore anyway, so you probably would have missed anyway.
Yeah, it did pull up pretty sore from the clash. This week would have been very much touch and go. So, I guess there's a silver lining in everything.
How about the Bulldogs? You seem to be, making some ground this year. You won't be there today, but the kids are coming through quite nicely.
Yeah, the way we finished off last year was really strong, and we hit pre-season really hard, and we knew that we had a lot we needed to work on, and that's what our pre-season was based on, just like every other club. And the way we've come into this season, the first round was a bit of a wake-up call, and we had to go back and really work on some things and identify some things, and we just look at building each week and getting stronger and stronger, and we just look for total buy-in from all the players.
Marcus Bontempelli's playing his first game today. Tell us a bit about him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Bonty goes. He's played some really strong games in the VFL, and he reminds me of Jackson McRae. They're very similar. Bonty's a bit taller, I think. I think he's about 191 or something like that. He's he's one of those tall midfielders that you see a lot of in Freo, and he can run. He's got some good moves, and one of those players that when he gets the ball, everything seems to slow down, and he makes good decisions with the footy. So I'm really excited. I'm really proud of him to get out here and to showcase what he's got, and I really look forward to seeing how he goes.
Guys up in the box.
Moz, Westy, how are you, buddy?
Good, Westy, how are you?
Good, mate. Ryan Griffin, obviously injured over the pre-season, back, I think. How's he been going? Obviously, he's been playing a lot forward. Will we see him a little bit more through the midfield today?
Yeah, I think we will. He missed a fair chunk of pre-season with his back and missed some games, and the move up forward, as you know, would be to get him into the games and get match fit, and so he'll move more and more into the midfield the better he's feeling. So I look forward to seeing him more in the midfield.
Now, with the ground last week, was there any ill effects or different soreness from normal? Because obviously the real sand-based situation up there. How did the players pull up?
Yeah, it was really sandy, surprisingly sandy, and a lot more grazes and scratches on the boys this week. It was kind of like going over sandpaper at times, and but I think there were a few more sore legs, sore calves, and these sorts of things just with digging into the sand a bit more.
Yeah, look like you're playing at the beach.
It did at times.
Obviously, Carlton 0-4. I know you can't, and you'll probably give me the answer that I know you're going to give me, but have you concentrated at all on, or have you spoken at all about what their mindset will be and how they'll approach the game? Because obviously the game is going to come out and want to get some pride early in the game, so it's going to be pretty physical early.
Oh, no doubt. And that's where the older guys come in at the club, and you know what it's like approaching games like this, and the older guys really talk to the group, especially the young guys, and to just be ready for what's coming. Carlton have copped it for a few weeks now, and they're a proud club and a proud team, and they're not going to sit around lightly and just let things happen. They'll come out really strong. We're prepared for that, but we're also working on our game and looking to improve on the things that we need to improve at, no matter who the opposition is. But we're well aware of what's ahead of us.
Dale, there's no doubt that the word has gone out that under Brendan that there's been an emphasis on get the defensive aspect right all over the ground, which is great. But it must also fill you with a bit more confidence that you can put some scoreboard pressure on, and the key to that is getting some good tools in. And I think that Crameri, the last couple of weeks, has started to really show his benefit, and it was great to see Jonesy clunking him last week. Yeah,
it was great seeing Jonesy flying for those marks, and when he didn't mark it, he brought it to the front, and that's what you want from your big guys, and that's what we expect. And Stu's, it took a while for him to warm up into the team and get used to the way that we want to play. But yeah, he's certainly benefited from the defensive mindset of the team and getting those inside 50s as a result of them. But and Stringer too, you can add him up there, and
yes,
to have the three big guys is something that we haven't had in a long time.
You talked to Scotty just then. You talked about Griffo, and just to sort of extend that out, I think so many youngsters coming in the critical component of you, for example, down the back line and up through the midfield and the forward line, just getting that blend of experience in that night. I was really thrilled for Matty Boyd last week. I thought that, when the game was in the balance, he was one of those players who said, come on, kids, just follow me.
He certainly did. He took the game by the scruff of the neck, and I watched the last quarter again, and he was unbelievable, and that was a leader's game right there, and he stood up when the team absolutely needed him, and that's why you're saying the experience across all lines. You need that. When things get tough, the young guys, the inexperienced guys, they look to those guys to step up, and, with me out, a lot more falls on Murph down back, and you've got our midfield where you've got heaps of guys rolling through there, and Boydie and Griff and Coons and these guys, and up forward with Stu coming in, he's got some experience. He's been in a very strong forward line, and Gia also up there, the wise head of Gia, he can really help the boys out.
Dale, beautifully expressed. Look forward to having you back next week, and thank you for joining us on Grandstand.
No worries, boys. Thanks. I can't wait.
Dale Morris, fancy him throwing out a leg and getting suspended for tripping, of all people, after missing a whole season with a broken leg.
Broken leg, that's exactly right. When he first did it, I wasn't even worried about the trip. I was thinking, don't do your leg again. That's, because, I tell you what, he's done the wrong thing last week, but he's one of those players who, regardless of whether you barrack for the Bulldogs or not, you love him. You love him because he punches above his weight. He's honest as the day is long, and you'll just get something out of him. And the other thing I love, the gap between his best and worst is so narrow. is just a coach's dream.
And it probably also shows, Stan, that in those sort of situations, there's no malice involved. It really is an
reflex
instinctive
type thing.
reflex sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Revolt did it a couple of weeks ago as well, and it's sort of...
You know when somebody really goes to kick somebody or trip them, don't you?
There's a real difference.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been reported because
fair point.
A potential of serious injury, but certainly it wasn't something that he would have done intentionally.
If you've just joined us on Grandstand today, repeating the result of the earlier game, the Adelaide Crows defeated GWS Giants at the Adelaide Oval 21-11, 137 to the Giants 10-12-72. Paddy Dangerfield kicked 5 goals as they romped away to win by 65 points.
Yeah, the Crows have found form, haven't they, against two of the weaker teams in the competition, although St Kilda is sitting 3-2, but the Crows would have liked to get out to the Adelaide Oval and have their first victory. And, ever since they've started playing football there, it's bright, sunny every time they play. But they played really well today.
That was beautiful, and there was a big crowd there, and footy's the biggest thing in Adelaide of all
you've
time.
Been
at the
over
Adelaide
there
Oval. I was there last Saturday, yeah.
Did you think it could look that good? Having been there for so many years.
Well, having been over there for the cricket, I mean, half the ground was not completed in time for the cricket, but I just went, wow, it looks really fantastic. And for the footy last week in perfect conditions, it's a tremendous venue for football. And, of course, they were all talking it up, saying, this is the best football venue in Australia. And they then had to stick up for the MCG. But it is good that they left the hill there and the scoreboard and the old fig trees, and you can see the cathedral and all that. But, geez, hard to beat.
And, Drewy, what position do you call the game from? Give us some idea.
High up, and a long way back from the wing, from the boundary line as well.
Okay.
So it was nosebleed, and you needed binoculars. We were a long way back. Whereas at the MCG we're high up, but close to the boundary line.
Yeah, that's right. And of course here we almost reach out and mark the ball. This is fantastic viewing arena.
You going to get a kick today?
I'm planning to actually go to my opponent and say, listen, I'm going to play 30 metres wide of you, and I'll just rack up, because I'm a chance in Dream Team, and today I want to get a few uncontested positions. But if it got to the contested stuff, I'd be actually interchanging myself.
Well, there are the Blues. They've burst through their banner. They haven't had this tune after game so far this year. They're 0-4. I wonder if they'll get it after the game today.
Well, if they do, I think they've earned it, because I've got no doubt that, just keep saying this again, the Bulldogs, after that first game, when they probably just didn't get it together, they've been very, very good, and they've got back to that form. See, it's not flash in the pan stuff. They were building this second half of last year. Good, tough, hard, honest footy. So that's what I think. We're in for a real contest, and Carlton, to win this game, we're going to have to match them in that area. And then they're going to have to be brave too. I think that one of the things that happens sometimes when you're not playing well in that, you play too much safety first and you go back into your shell. And Scotty West has just time and again just told me about how to play this ground here. And honestly, if you play too much safety first, and I think the Bombers did that last night, if you go too slow backwards and forwards, the other sides can push across. You've got to be brave enough to take them on and get some run, especially through the midfield. Get it in quickly and give your forwards a chance.
Well, it's the Dogs' home game here. Their banner goes up, and the Doggies about to make their appearance on the ground here under the closed roof. We'll just let them run through the banner, and before we get into our preview in detail, we'll get you a half-time score and a report from the MCG. But here come the Dogs. They've won their last 2 games in a row to get themselves back on track. They're sitting 10th on the ladder. Can they make it a hat-trick? It's been a while. Gia actually ducks under the banner first in his iridescent green vest. Gia once again the sub for the Bulldogs. So start of the game not far away, about 7 or so minutes. We'll get a preview shortly, but in the meantime we'll go to Joe Sullivan at the MCG. Joe.
Thanks, Drew. Half-time here at the MCG. The Gold Coast lead 6 goals, 12-48 to the Demons 4-4-28. So a 20-point margin in favour of the Suns at half-time. But it could have been so much more in that second quarter. They kicked 4 goals to 1 in terms of goals to the Demons. But also it was 4 goals, 5. So some inaccuracy they'll be hoping doesn't come back to hurt them later on in the match. Multiple goal kickers for the Gold Coast. Brandon Matera and Tom Lynch both have 2 apiece, while James Frawley has got 2 for the Demons. So it remains to be seen. They said on the banner at the start of the match that the Demons were all fired up. It'll be interesting to see if they are all fired up in this second half.
A 20-point lead to the Suns at half-time at the MCG. Righto, back here, and the team's doing their warm-ups and run-throughs and getting a feel of the footy. Scott West, 7 times best and fairest for the Bulldogs. You want to kick us off with your preview?
Well, the Bulldogs pride themselves on contested footy, and they have been very good at that over the last 18 months under Brendan McCartney. Stoppage numbers have been terrific. They don't score as much from stoppage for the percentage that they win. So that's going to be a real focus area for them. Fordyne is just really starting to click, I think. I was pretty critical of Liam Jones a couple of weeks ago and his lack of work rate. Last couple of weeks he's been a lot better. I think he and Cremeri are working together well. Stringer as well being the third option down there. And obviously with Dalhouse, a small crumbing forward, being able to get in and under and score goals. So he's going to be a handful for the Carlton Football Club. For me, I'm just really interested to see how Carlton go about it. If it doesn't work for them early, that'll be the interesting part. But they can't go back into their shell, as you said, Stan. They've got to be true to themselves. They've got to stay true to their game style. And they've got to just play their players in their best position for where it suits the team to win this game of footy. Wade up forward, roll up forward next to him, give him forward option. Yaron off half back. Obviously, Juddy, he's waiting in the wings. He'll be a burst of energy when he comes on, but they can't rely on him coming into the team or coming onto the ground to be the one that's going to make the difference. For me, I just see for the Bulldogs, speed through the middle part of the ground off half-back may cause some trouble for Carlton. With Buckley out of the team, which I'm really surprised, young 21-year-old player in a rebuilding team with speed, I thought he might have stayed in the team, but I see that could be a real strength of the Bulldogs and something that could hurt Carlton as the game goes on. So for me, everyone's going to say I'm biased, but I think the Bulldogs will win today in what should be a Dow game. I think Carlton need to make a statement early. I think it'll be tough, hard. I think there'll be plenty of numbers around the footy we've seen a lot of, in this first four or five rounds. So, it'll be on for young and old.
Of course you're biased, but you're entitled to be. You spend a lifetime at a footy club and you towel them up in the best and fairest every year. Of course you're biased.
Well, I said I'd be true to myself when I'm in this position, that I'd deal with the facts, and the facts are that the Bulldogs are in better form, which obviously they've won their last two. Carlton, 0-4, and I see him having a real speed advantage through the middle of the ground, and on this ground, geez, if you've got speed through the middle of the ground, it's a huge benefit.
Well, to add to that, I'm just going to talk about the Bullies. See, when I come to watch, and I love the team aspect, but I can't help but get individualised. And from the Bullies, this kid McRae keeps grabbing me every time I see him, and so I'm so keen to see Bontempelli today. I mean, just to see about him, because these are the emerging ones, aren't they? That will go the next step to just watch them. So I'm going to be really interested in kids like that. Young Jong has really seemed to have grasped his position, so that's going to be fantastic. Look, from the Blues, I think the real challenge here is that the team wants to win, but can you just imagine the pressure that's on every player out there himself, his own individual pride, that wanting to do well, and I just hope that they don't get too carried away and tighten up too much from the fact that they want to play well themselves. As I said, do the things that are required from a team aspect, and the rest just comes with it. And it's amazing that if you get into this game and you do the hard things, I'm going to tell you, confidence can come pretty quickly if you do the right things. But if it's done on sort of Larry-type football, even if you score, it doesn't stand you in good stead. But if you do the basics, and I'm sure that's what Mick will have been really drilling them all week, do the hard, basic 1%ers or whatever you want to call it, and we'll let the result take care of itself. I'm going to tell you, and all of a sudden, if we start to get a bit of hand with the footy, you just watch how quick they find an extra yard, and they start to run, and all of a sudden they hit targets and kick goals and things like that. That's what they'll be hoping for.
And I guess, Stan, from a Bulldogs point of view as well, being a relatively young side, they can't get sucked into Lairising themselves because they're coming up against a team that's so wounded over the last 2 weeks. They've still got to very much stay focused on what they need to do and not get sucked in.
And look, and he's very quiet, undemonstrative. But let me tell you, I reckon if they started playing like that, I reckon the coach would be come down very, very quickly, because I don't think that's part of his makeup.
We talked about that last week, but he did do it after the first quarter against the Giants, that he was disgusted in them and really let them have it at quarter time, and they did respond. But it's another little challenge for the Dogs
and
today.
It's a challenge of youth, and that's why, again, just listening to Dale Morris just saying the critical component of having experience spread amongst the kids, so that you've got somebody in the back half like a Murphy can look after in the midfield and up the forward line, that a Gia when he comes on, or a Crammy the roles that it's critical for them to do. because I think, again, just we see that time and time again, that good blend between experienced leadership and youth coming on, because the problem with youth is inconsistency.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time. I'm just looking out here, and the Carlton blokes are just, they're in that huddle and they're just talking. I mean, it's a time where I don't know who, can't see from here who would be doing the talking. I hope it's Murphy. I mean, there's a tendency you might think that Juddy's going to do it, but it's really a time, if nothing else, to actually be prepared to look in somebody in the eye. And the comment is, when you come off the ground, can you still look your teammate in the eye, knowing that you've given it all? And you can't ask any more than that.
Just on Mark Murphy, I hope the other leaders take on some of the responsibility of leading today so he can go and play footy. Sometimes when you're in these situations, you feel like you need to go over and above your own performance to prove a point. He doesn't have to do that today. He just needs to play his role, whether it's on someone, whether it's going to play, get the footy. I think Mitch Wallace will go to him. I think they will try and, won't give him a break. So I think that'll be a match-up. But I really hope the other leaders are helping him out.
Martin Blake's our man on the boundary. Marty.
Drew, it's pristine down here, 21 degrees, ground perfect. Mark Murphy won the toss, kicked to the left as you look to the Footscray end. So they'll go to the other way. The Bulldogs will go to the right, to the Coventry end. And amazing to see Chris Judd sitting here in the green vest. Looking forward to seeing him play his first game of the year, the 30-year-old champion.
It's an unusual sight to see one of the greats of the game in the vest.
Well, Henderson has gone forward. Down there, Waite's going to go deep. Young's picking him up.
Here's Adam White to get us underway on grandstand.
Curnow on Liberatore, Murphy on Wallace out on a wing as we start Sunday twilight footy from Dockland Stadium. Minson winning the tap down, looked for Griffin, got worried out of it. Warnock with the first handball of the match. Got a handball to Gibbs. Now to Simpson, kicks towards half forward, juggling attempt there from Murphy, dropped the mark against Lucas, falls to ground, taken by Dale Thomas, who scrubs the ball in towards full forward, meeting it well McRae, got a handball to Wood, to Cooney, back to McRae, the Dogs work it out with handballs towards defensive 50, Cooney had to be quick with the kick, he was, up towards Jong on the wing, can't take the mark, but he's first to recover against Simpson, he actually did really well then got tackled though late by Gibbs, holding the ball, advantage paid, and Murphy has it through midfield.
And he kicks across the ground to the veteran Scotland, who penetrates the 50. Henderson got a hand to it, couldn't complete a mark, but he gathers the bouncing ball and bounces it towards goal. It's through for a minor score.
Well, it's not a kick mark or handball, but the tackle from Bryce Gibbs would have been a real pleasing aspect for Mick Moldhouse early in this game on his centre wing.
Murphy kicks to himself and then darts towards the dock side. Long raking kick. He wants Minson. Crashing into the pack was White. Off hands is the Dogs' ball. Liberatore crumbed it beautifully. Handballs to Griffin, who runs and kicks towards half forward. A bouncing footy for Dalhouse. 30 out in the pocket. Keeps it low to a vacant square. It won't bounce the right way for him. It goes across the face and through for behind. But they moved it quickly from one end to the other.
The only problem was the skipper Griffin's just kick. If he had hit Dalhouse, set the ball in front of him, he would have taken that and been able to run to the goal. As a result, that's probably put him under too much pressure.
Andrew Walker to himself, and then he kicks long over the half-back flank, and it comes off hands and goes out of bounds. That was Simon White there, who replaced Dylan Buckley in the selected side. White picking up Crammery. So we have a throw in at the Dogs' right half-forward flank. Minson and Warnock. Minson a fingertip to the ball. Scotland at the back. Gets a hand pass away. It comes to Cripps. His hand pass back into trouble. Scotland goes backwards. Doesn't hit a target. Knocked on by Griffin for the Dogs. They're within 25 metres of goal. Applying pressure. And the umpire comes in and is going to throw this in the air. And the Bulldogs have just forced them forward. We've been playing 2.5 minutes. No goal yet. A behind each.
So the umpire throws it up quickly. Minson in front, beaten by Warnock over the top. Wallace in the pocket, worried out of it by Murphy. And now the players converge and the umpire will come in and call for it. Close to the boundary, only 25 out from the Dogs' goal.
I mentioned Bryce Gibbs earlier. It's really pleasing to see him in the action. He needs to make a statement here early in the game for Carlton.
Minson knocks it towards the corridor. Kobe Stevens onto the footy. Gets a quick handball, but it's knocked away from him in the end. And over for a throw-in still in the right forward pocket for the Dogs. Up to 3 minutes in the opening term. It's a behind a piece.
Closed roof. Gee, my observation is a few of the Carlton fans have deserted. Plenty of vacant seats here at Docklands. Bulldogs in attack for this throw in the forward pocket. Minson gets a hand to it again. Ball bobbles, comes to Dalhouse. He's wrapped up by Curnow and taken to ground. And the umpire comes in to throw it in the air.
It looks to me like young Cripps has been given the job on Griffin. Just trying to, it's early days, they may not have settled, but the young fella seems to be going to him every ball up.
In just his second game. Made a good start last week. Minson plucks it off the deck. He's caught. He's saying, I'm trying to hand pass this out, umpire. And the umpire says, I'm not fooled by that. You're not that good an actor. That's a free kick, you're holding it.
The two dinosaurs with each other there in defence for the Blues. Warnock handballs to Walker, who takes a bounce, and from centre-half back, a good ball to Simpson, who marks. If he didn't, Henderson would have. Now the Blues running through the city wing. The kick up towards Casbolt. Dropped the mark he should have taken. He dropped a few last week as well, Casbolt. This time he decides to kick long towards full forward. There's a marking contest. It's going against Allard. And it'll be a free kick to the Dogs to be taken by Higgins, last line of defence.
He goes for a run and bounce, kicks towards the 50. There was some danger about it, but it just cleared and finds Boyd. Boyd over the top. McRae marks. Hand pass. Higgins kept on going. Underground kick. Palm down in the path of Dalhouse. He gathers it half forward, centres the ball with a delightful kick. And Jones marks about 49 metres from goal.
Great transition, wasn't it? Great transition and running. Beautiful kick out to Boyd. And then the Bullies were just on their way, and Dalhouse looked sharp already, pounced on it. Just a lovely little kick sort of around the corner. Nothing the defender can do that. And Jones just wrapped it right into the belly button.
Liam Jones has kicked 7 goals straight this year. Distance, well, test him. 50 metres out. Drop punt. A bit right. And stays right for his first miss of the year. And the Doggies lead 2 behinds to 1 behind.
So the Blues with Walker in the goal square. He goes long. He wants Waite, who jumps up high over the top of Higgins and dropped the mark. Would have been spectacular, but he dropped it. Blues still have the football, though, with Gibbs getting the handball to Carazzo. Now the kick coming up back towards Waite. This time he does hold on, going back with the flight. Handballs to Gibbs, defensive wing. Just chips it towards Casbolt. Still testing, spoil from Talia, but he used his hands. So a free kick to be taken by Casbolt. Handballs to Curnow. Back to Gibbs, getting a lot of the footy early. Almost to left half forward, kicking towards full forward. Very luckily falling in the hands of Henderson, who was at the back of the marking contest. It landed in his chest. And he's been able to take the mark. Only 20 metres out from goal, straight in front.
It's really obvious Carlton want to go quick off half-back. They want to get the ball. We've seen Walker, we've seen Gibbs. They want to play on quick. We've seen Waite get up, handball straight away. They want to play fast. They want to get the ball moving so they can get one-on-one contests in their forward 50.
So Lockie Henderson, a chance for the first goal of the afternoon. Straight in front. The umpire works a little bit to his left, but it's home. And Carlton are in front, 1-1-7. The Bulldogs 2 behinds after 6.5 minutes.
Well, it's risk versus equals reward, and it's calculated risk, though, that when everybody knows it's going to happen, and that's the thing that you're going to do. And we've just seen players like Gibbs just take off straight away, run past, without hesitation. The handball comes to him, and then it's a long kick into that dangerous area. It was a bit of a floater kick, and really Lockie Henderson was sort of at the back and just floated over, and he just marked it on his tummy and went back only for about 20 so metres out. So good signs by the Blues. Good signs. They're taking them on, prepared to risk and things like that. They certainly haven't gone into their shell in any shape or form.
Blues leading by 5 points. They lead the disposals 25-16. Warnock wins in the middle, but it comes down to Boyd of the Bulldogs, who bounces a ball end on end up towards the 50. Taken by Crameri, the former bomber. Hand pass back, and he gets it back from Stevens. Crameri right to full forward with a kick. Ball at ground level. Slung out of there by Carlton. Bulldogs fans calling for a trip. A hand pass comes out the back door to Liberatore.
Poor effort.
And he blazed for goal and missed it away to the left-hand side, out of bounds on the full.
One of those ones where I think he just thought he was under more pressure than he was.
Yaron has the free kick. Plays on, gets into the field of play and then goes long. Out towards half-back. No mark. Off hands, it falls to the front. Dalhouse collects, but he's taken over the boundary for a throw-in. About 70 out from the Dogs' goal, out on the City side. So at the moment, Curnow locking arms with Liberatore at this stoppage. Thrown in. Warnock decisively wins it down. Scotland there. Simpson, all handballs now. Waite, who started very well. Kicks to the middle. It's coming back. Dogs have the football. Williams getting the handball to Picken. Goes round the body over the top of Cramery. And it should let in the Blues here with Everett taking it on the bounce. Handballs to Waite, who goes down the line. And it's a good short pass. And it's Dale Thomas taking it in front of the interchange gates.
Gee, Waite's pushing right up the ground, isn't he? He's really giving him a target.
Kick by Thomas, about 20 metres. And he gets it to Everett. Former Bulldog himself and Sydney Swan. Everett across the ground, and he's found a lot of space out on the City side. Mark taken by Andrew Walker. He kicks over the wing. Simpson marks. Simpson goes the short pass. Good use of the footy. And Yarran has taken the mark at right half forward. Too far out to score. Over the top he goes towards the 50. Murphy skirts the boundary line and kicks to the goal square. Henderson takes the ball off a defender and snaps it from a metre out. Lockie Henderson gets his second. The Blues at 2-1 to 2 behind.
Really good ball movement there. They took it to the fat side of the ground. But what they did, they did go sideways, but they got into open space and went forward. What I have noticed in this early part of the game is Mitch Wallace is being mauled by the Carlton Football Club. So, they're playing team football. They know Murphy's under the pump as a leader. So they're going to try and protect him. They're trying to give him every opportunity to play good football tonight. And not quite sure whether he's going for goal, but obviously he come off for Henderson, who's got two. That's where Carlton want him to play. They want him to play up forward because he just balances them. He gives them a forward target, and the combination of Waite and Henderson has been good already.
Gibbs, Scotland, Walker, Simpson, all four disposals for the Blues early on. Back in the middle, it comes out to Gibbs, who gets another clearance, kicking it out towards the City wing. Murphy in front of Wallace, takes possession, sort of half shrugs the tackle of Wallace, but good enough to get the handball to Carazzo. His kick was a little messy towards Thomas at right half forward. It misses him and trickles out of play for a throw-in.
At that centre bounce, Murphy free. This is a player that they cannot allow to be free. The Carlton Football Club, they've got to go and man him up.
Thrown in. Minson takes the front spot. Wins it down, although shark by Carazzo. There's a free kick off the footy. And it is going to be... The umpire hasn't flown either way yet. He's waiting. He's not sure. That's coming back. It's a Carlton football. It's going to Murphy against Wallace.
So if the player wanted to take advantage, why wasn't he allowed?
Well, Carlton had the ball, didn't they?
Scotland was streaming through the 50.
Short pass to Simpson. Now he's 60 out. He's going to kick long. Henderson again the target. He's taken the mark, but it's over the goal line. And it will be a behind.
Hello. Video review.
Well, it seemed very obvious. The goal umpire was sure that it was a behind.
He couldn't be in a better posse, the goal umpire, surely.
Well, the field umpire has just destroyed his confidence there because he had already called a behind. And the field umpire said, "Are you sure? You don't want to go upstairs?" No, I'm okay.
It was well over.
Well, this is the problem with the review. We've got angles of the vision where you just cannot tell.
Can tell.
The goal umpire's in a perfect position.
Well, the goal umpire is certainly in a better position than any camera angle.
It's a half decent camera angle. Usually
it's better.
It's a behind, which is what the goal umpire thought all along. So we've wasted nearly a minute there.
Yeah. Oh, we've just saved 27 interchanges.
Carlton 2-2-14. The Bulldogs 2 behinds after 12 minutes.
So it goes down as a behind to Cade Simpson. Dogs bring it in. It's a very high ball to get it outside the 50. Pack gathers. Ball bobbles around. At the back, Cramery. Little hand pass away to Cooney, who has a bounce. Darts to the wing. Centres the ball. Not a bad kick. And Jones streams up the ground to take a chest mark. Jones inside the 50. Beautiful kick. That is fantastic.
I know I'm just an echo of you, Drew, but that wasn't that gorgeous.
And Stevens has taken this mark in the corridor, right in front, about 30 metres out from goal.
He's kicked that ball over the retreating player, and it just has to be perfectly weighted because the opposition were coming the other way, and he's just hit it absolutely gorgeous.
Kobe Stevens. should be a certainty for their first goal. The drop punt right over the goal umpire's hat. And the Dogs go to 1-2, trailing the Blues 2-2. Let's get a score from the MCG. Joe Sullivan.
It is the Demons who trail by 21 points. J. Kennedy Harris having just put them through. The score, the Gold Coast 7-14-56. They lead Melbourne 5-35. 10 minutes gone, third term.
Well, Carlton, for the second time, have let the Bulldogs get him out over the back from a kick-in. Long kick-in, the speed off the contest. First of all, it was Griffin, and then it was Kearney. They got him over the back. They've got to keep some defensive shape. They've got to get some depth in it because, as we said in the preview, Bulldogs have got speed with Kearney at back in form, Griffin through the middle part of the ground, so they're going to have to watch not getting the ball out the back on them.
Carlton 45 disposals to 30. In the middle, Warnock wins it down. There's a fight for possession at the drop though, and the ball will be balled up, still inside the centre circles. Gibbs and Simpson 5, Scotland, Walker and Murphy 4, so their leaders are really setting the tone early. Minson wins the tap from the secondary stoppage, and then it's Wallace for the Dogs, who kicks quickly towards centre half forward. Crashing the pack then was Stringer. Diving onto it there was Dalhouse. He was dispossessed. Still with the Dogs. No, there's a free kick and advantage. So Bulldogs can go forward here. Boyd on the fly, misses to the left. It came out of the congestion quickly with Boyd with the footy, with that free kick being paid, but he was unable to find the major uprights are behind. It's 14-9 Carlton's way.
Quick in ball for the Blues. Walker to Tui. Tui gets it outside the 50. Wait, well up the ground. Passes it beautifully to Warnock in the middle. Off to Carazzo. This could be an end-to-end goal. Gibbs on the run from 52. Right, Gibbs gets it home. That is sensational by Carlton, and Blues fans would want to see more of that.
It was brilliant. Yeah, it was speed. Jared Wade again. Is that exit kick coming up really high up the ground, and this is the advantage of having Henderson, and we've spoken about it earlier, but Henderson's being able to play the deeper next option after the ball's been exited from 50. What I liked is Warnock's ability to be able to be the option through the middle of the ground. We know ruckmen like to play off each other a little bit, and he needs to play that role a little bit more. Not just be the ruckman, he needs to be the link player through the middle, 45 inside and have runners off him. And exactly, Carazzo hands off, Gibbs. The leaders of this Carlton team have really made a statement early in this game.
So Boyd misses at one end and Gibbs gets it at the other.
Comes
it was
the
a
burn,
harder shot. Yep. Back in the middle. One down by Warnock in the ruck against Jones, but the Dogs have it. Boyd, good handball. Kick comes forward from Griffin on the bounce to Jones, who meets it well, gets a handball. It's still Dogs footy with Griffin. Griffin gets the handball to Dalhouse, back to Griffin, dodges one, shrugs the tackle, handballs back to Dalhouse. Bouncing footy back to the top of the goal square. Still a chance with the Dogs, with McRae getting a handball to Murphy. Still with the Dogs. Oh, Stevens fell over at the critical moment, trying to jump over the pack. Now the ball in dispute. 40 out from the Dogs' goal. It's a hot footy at the moment. Carlton standing strong though in that situation. And Warnock out of the congestion, kicking it to the middle. Easton Wood got there first, kept the ball in front. Then the tackles come from Carlton. One of them was Waite, a huge tackle. And it will be thrown up with Casbolt, the other man tackling. A throw up inside the centre square.
You don't want to be in that two-man tackle. That was McRae peeling himself off the deck. Thrown up by the ump. Warnock over the top. Knocks it down. Gouged out by Boyd. But still inside. Taken for the Blues. Gibbs kick. No distance. Murphy's there for the Dogs. He drops it red hot in the tackle. Ball say the Carlton fans. Through Griffin it goes. Murphy gets a touch. Gee, they're throwing themselves in willy-nilly here. Inside the centre square. The umpire sprints in and says, give it to me, have a breather. I'm going to throw this in the air. Blues 3-2. Lead the Bulldogs 1-3. And we are 17 minutes into the game.
Thrown up. Warnock just gets Jones out of the contest. But picks up the footy. Jones kicking to centre half forward for Carlton. In front was Rowe, affected the spoil. Handball came out from Tui. It's okay because it's with Thomas, who takes a bounce. Caught on his left, kicks towards the wing. In front, Bell, strong mark. In front of Pickett, handball quickly to Gibbs. Gibbs up towards centre half forward, and the mark taken by Henderson. Carlton really moving the ball quickly. Henderson towards Waite, stretches marks. 20 out from goal. Against Young in the one-on-one. And Stan and Scotty West picked it early that Carlton are trying to play on at every possibility from a mark. and putting the Dogs' defence under pressure.
And there's none more fanatical in running on than Gibbs at the moment. He's almost demanding and putting himself in the position for the ball. And the thing I like about him, so often of his run-throughs on the inside of the ground. He's not going around the outside, which means that when he's getting the football, he's really opening it up for his forwards.
So Jared Waite to the Footscray end. 25 out, left of centre, never deviated. Straight through the middle, and the Blues have got 4. 4-2-26. The Bulldogs 1-3-9, so a 17-point advantage to Carlton, who played 18 minutes in the first term.
Well, I'd be brave enough, Scotty, to say that Carlton are on. I think they've really brought their game, haven't they? They're playing with an intensity, and obviously, add about that running and what they're doing. But the other side of it was the tackle, the frenetic of the tackle. It's a player gets it, and they're just 2 and 3 are just really at them.
And you talked about turning inboard. Has Mick Malthouse changed his brand? Because he was a boundary line coach, wasn't he, for Collingwood?
Yep.
Signs are good early. Blues 4-2 to 1-3. Bounce in the middle. Favours Warnock. Lands right on his head, but it was outside the circles, so the ump will try again. Give us a chance to get a score from the MCG. Joe Sullivan.
Well, it's a bit of a shootout here at the moment. The half-time lead is still at 20 points here at the 16-minute mark. Gold Coast 8 goals, 15-63. Lead Melbourne 6-7, 43.
Blues by 17. Warnock wins the tap, but it doesn't clear the area. And we're going to get this ball thrown up in the air once more. Earlier on today, Adelaide defeated the GWS by 65 points. Danger man, kick 5. This is palm down. Comes to Cooney. Griffin has an airy. Swept off the deck by Lucas. He goes back to Tui. Great kick out to Murphy. Running forward of the contest. He kicks inside the 50 and Waite looks as though the spell on the Magoos has done him the world of good. He takes another mark. Goes for the short pass. Ellard is there. Has it punched away. Comes to the Dogs. Higgins a little hand pass. Wood back to Higgins. He's run down from behind. And that's a good sign.
No, he's in the back.
Well,
oh, crikey.
It was a good effort by Yaron.
Well, they might have got out of jail, the bullies. He did.
Flying tackle. I reckon he pinned him. That's a beautiful tackle.
It's almost an art form. If you're caught behind, just bending the knees and fall forward. You've got a chance of getting away with it.
Higgins short to Cooney, into Young in midfield, handballs to Wood through the circles. So the Dogs moving it quickly as well. Long kick inside the 50. Stringer's dropped the mark. It bounced off his chest. Should have done better there. Falls to wide of the Blues. Tackle came late from Stringer. Onto it, Curnow though for Carlton, close to the boundary. Handballs to Everett at defensive 50, running the wrong way. He handballs to Walker, who decides to change direction and kick back towards Allard, who was strong in the contest and marked against Young in a one-on-one between wing and half-back.
Allard kicks it all the way back to fullback. Everett marks and they start again. He's got no one on him, so he has a bit of a waltz and a couple of bounces and a weave. Now he picks out Simpson, who peeled off Dalhouse and takes the mark over half-back flank. Going down the city side. Simpson to the wing, to the Irishman, Tui. Got support on the outside. But his choice is to go long to the 50. Talia is there to get away from his man and take the mark. Dashing back for the Bulldogs. Talia straight up the corridor. Didn't hit his man, but on the bounce, it is gathered by Griffin. He goes for the short pass to Murphy. On defensive 50, he takes the mark. 26 plays 9. The Blues have started well.
And the Murphy goes out wide to the Docks wing to Picken. He'll chip over the top. The ball hangs in the air a long time, but Stevens made it good and marked against Walker. Walker came late and spoiled it out of the hands of Stevens over the boundary, but the mark was paid.
A good effort by Walker because he slowed the whole game down.
Yep. Stevens inboard to Griffin. Again, Waite came late with the pressure, but Griffin took the mark. First time we've really seen slow ball from either team. Griffin looks up. He's going to have to kick to a contest. He wants Jones to run at it, and he does, and crashes the back, and he's given away a free kick.
It was a terrible kick by the skipper. It was a nothing kick. It was nothing. He held the game up, didn't like that. Then he just propped it up and he caused that. It was, so out of character.
So Kade Simpson will take the free kick from halfback.
And he kicks to centre wing. It clears a pack. Taken by Williams of the Dogs. Hand pass away to Stringer. Off to Murphy. He's got support on the inner. There's Bontempelli, the first gamer. He kicks it long to full forward. A leap at the back by Dalhouse. He can't take the mark, but he rows his own ball and goals. Oh, that is sensational footy. The Dogs at 2-3. Carlton 4 goals 2.
Well, Griffin's kick was terrible forward. Simpson's was just as bad. It was a half kick to nothing.
Funny, wasn't it?
So everyone was manned up. So, yeah, the option down the line is probably the correct one. But kick at 55. Don't kick at 25 where it's centre wing, ball gets turned over, you go back inside 50 because you get turned around. But a great contest from Dallas. That's what he needs to do. That's why he got such big raps on him in the Bulldogs, because he competes in the air, competes on the ground, and he just kept his feet.
He sure did. Great awareness.
You mentioned everybody manned up. Unless I'm mistaken, this is one of those games where they haven't got extra men back in defence. Yahoo!
It's good footy. Best footy I've seen this weekend. Free kick from the middle. It's a Carlton ball. Carazzo's handballed it to Murphy, who kept running and kicked it to Casbolt, who also goes long and quickly to full forward. It bounces in the square, gets away from the pack and gets away from the forwards and goes through for a behind.
Gee, Murphy's enjoying coming off this wing and just running around the back, and anything out the back just coming to him. They've got to wake up to that, the Bullies.
He's had 8, Mark Murphy. Carlton by 2 goals.
Stan, there's a new dawning. There's 18 pairs of players around the ground. I love it. The kick straight up the centre. Could be a worry. Walker gives it a big leap and thumps to the ground. Gathered by Bell, but his kick smothered about 2 metres away. I reckon off the groin by Boyd. Good on him. And he gets it back and kicks it.
Oh, what a grab.
Sensational mark by Jones, who's taken 3 beauties at the start of the game. He puts the ball out in front. Getting after it is Cramery, just near the boundary line outside the 50. He gathers. Does a circle, centres the ball. Zhong is there. Hand pass away. Boyd, as he covers some ground. And Boyd got a high tackle, said the umpire.
He's really dropped it too.
Matty Boyd has the free, in front, 40 out.
Now this is what Matty's got to do. He's got to finish it off. He was lucky he might have got out of jail on that. But this is the one, very important one.
Full time in the NRL, and the Raiders have come over the top of Melbourne Storm and won 24-22.
A try in the 79th minute.
Gee, damn. Here's Boyd. Kicking from 45. Beautiful. 3-3 to 4 goals 3. Blues lead by 6 points. Martin Blake.
Not a huge crowd, as you said before, Drew, but they weren't particularly happy with that decision. Matty Boyd very lucky to get a free kick for a high tackle there.
Well, it's been a competitive start from Carlton. They're beating the Bulldogs in tackles, their intensity, their intent to want to play hard, fast footies there. But just hanging in there. The Bulldogs have kicked 2 goals, one from the free kick from Boydie, or 2 Boydie, Dalhouse goal. Again, they got him over the back. They're getting him in space out the back. Carlton just got to be mindful of that.
So 26 played in the first term as we go back into the middle with Warnock and also Minson. Warnock wins it down. Murphy, quick handball to Carazzo. Up towards Bell, through his hands. Gets to the back towards the 50. Yaron and also Casbolt were lurking. Falls out to Talia of the Dogs, but there's a throw. It's going to be a Carlton free kick. It was thrown out to Talia. So Yaron to take the free kick. He also moves it quickly over the head of Waite and over the back of the pack and over for a boundary throw-in in Carlton's right forward pocket. They do look very different, Carlton, to the last 2 weeks. No question about that. Thrown in. Minson wins it down. Shark, though, by Bell of the Blues. Gets a handball to Carazzo. Scotland from a standing start. Pokes it back towards the goal square. Coming onto it. Henderson snaps a goal. He's third. Hit it like a freight train on the bounce and was unstoppable in that circumstance. And Carlton have 5. 5-3-33. The Bulldogs 3-3-21 after 27 minutes.
An opportunist goal from the stoppage, and that's what happens when you just get the ball moving forward. Anything can happen, but I think the Carlton Football Club have identified that the Bulldogs are a little bit vulnerable down back. They've got Talia and Williams. They're probably their tall options that are young. Williams hasn't played for a while. Talia, first game or second game for the year. And Wood and Young are both undersized, so they decided we're going to get this ball in long, strong and deep as quickly as we can to give our forwards a chance, because they are undermanned down there and it's working for them.
Yeah, playing to your strengths.
Amazing, isn't it? Warnock wins the hit out in the middle for Carlton. And there's a free kick just forward of the circles here with Daisy Thomas bowled over. He kicks out wide. Here come the Blues on the charge again. Gibbs marks, gets it inside 50. Ellard marks. He was camped under it for a few seconds.
Now, I'm going to tell you, Williams before had a chance to go at Henderson, but he hung back. He had a time to really spike that. He's got to go. You've got to make a presence. I mean, little man camped on the ball was really brave, but gee.
Man of his size shouldn't be marking
Got to make a
30
presence.
out right in front. Been kicking a few goals this year. He's kicked 6 goals. Ellard goes from about 30 and nails it. Carlton go to 6-3, leading the Bulldogs 3-3.
And reward for Carlton, because I think this is where the first quarter's been with their dominance in the way they've gone about it. That's a huge win for Carlton and Ellard. He's kicked goals, as you just said, Drew, because I think he's been playing defensive forward role. And in this particular stage, he's on Murphy, who's a very damaging player from the back end for the Bulldogs. So if he can play that role, also kick goals, it's a double win for him.
They're just getting some real clear clearance at centre bounces too, and coming off the side, just swoop round the back, and the kick out to the City side, right near that half-forward flank. There's a man out there all the time, and swoop round the back and just looking for him, and it's really exposing the Bullies.
There's some damning stats that we'll get to at quarter time that Brendan McCartney won't be happy with. From the middle, it is a Bulldogs ball. Are they Cooney? Well, he just got his handball away in time as he was tackled. Got it to Griffin. Now to McRae from the centre circles. Goes long. Stringer contesting against 2. It doesn't work for him. And White takes the mark. Handballs to Everett. Flares it wide. There's 2 Blues out there on the far side. One of them is Bell. He gets the handball across, and the Blues can build on the City wing. Now it's Dale Thomas. He gets a defensive handball. Carlton just wanting to hold possession for the moment. Gibbs is a little snookered. Got the handball over the top when the support came from Curnow. Handballs now to Dale Thomas. Close to the boundary on the City wing. Goes as long as he can towards Henderson, who marks in front. He's playing really well, Henderson. Now he goes long to Wade. In front, takes it. Good footy, Carlton.
And that's one of those mismatches that we spoke about. Weight on Young. And it looks like every time that they can get these sort of match up, they try and take them as deep as possible to be the last one in the chain and inside 50 so they can get a shot on goal.
So if Carlton could just get this goal, a 4-goal lead would be very handy on the stroke of quarter time. Jared Waite at the 50, right half forward. Oh, he likes it. He likes it. It's got it. Yes, it's just squeezed in. The goal umpire looked very close to the post. But Carlton has got that 7th goal, and the lead is 4 goals. 7-3-45. The Bulldogs 3-3-21 at the 31-minute mark of the opening term. So that is 3 goals in 4 minutes. At the 26-minute mark, it was only 6 points the difference. This last 4 minutes will really hurt the Dogs.
Well, it's been hurting the whole game, and the more critical thing is how it's been happening. Just some great clear ball. Situations where Spilly's out wide. Carlton got the footy because they outnumbered. They ran to the contest. Bulldogs just players holding off rather than making a contest, and the ball going in, and all Carlton wants is one-on-ones, because in the air, Henderson and Wade are having a picnic.
Well, last week, Carlton kicked only 7 goals for the whole match against Melbourne when they fiddled about with it. They've got 7 in the first quarter here today. 2 he goes long from the centre bounce, but he's turned it over, and the mark's been taken in defence for the Bulldogs by Crameri. He kicks across the ground.
And he's had to go down to try and stem the blood a bit.
Williams. He's come back the other side of the ground. And Picken has it. Deep in the back pocket. This is the slowest the ball's moved all day. Kicked by Picken. Over half back. Oh, Jones, he leapt over the ruckman and plucked another mark. But it'll count for nothing because the siren sounds for quarter time. And Liam Jones, he's come out firing. But well, he hasn't been able to match Henderson and Waite on the forward line for the Blues, who've marked everything. What a quarter of football it was. Carlton 7-3-45. The Bulldogs 3-3-21. We'll hear from Scott West and Stan Alves in a moment. But let's get a score from the MCG and Joe Sullivan.
Just gone three-quarter time here, Drew, and Gold Coast hold on to their lead. They lead by 19 points. It is 8 goals, 17-65 to Melbourne, 6-10-46. Both teams continue to waste chances. It's really frustrating to watch. But at three-quarter time, it is the Gold Coast Suns who lead by 19.
And here we've got Henderson with 3 first-quarter goals, Waite with 2, singles for Gibbs and Ellard. And for the Bulldogs, their 3 goals have come from Boyd, Dalhouse and Kobe Stevens. Quarter time, 7-3-45 Carlton. They matched their full game tally of 7 goals of last week in 1 quarter of football. And the Bulldogs are 3-3-21. Stan and Westy.
Well, 5 goals from your 2 key forwards in the first quarter is exactly what the Mick Moldhouse and the Carlton coaching staff would have wanted. They've just got the mismatches down there, as we said during the call. Taylor and Williams, 2 key defenders who haven't played a lot of footy. Wood and Young, both undersized, playing on, Waite, Casbolt, who haven't mentioned a lot, but he's taking an opponent, which allows him to play 6 forwards. Bulldogs have, gone one-on-one with him, and it just hasn't worked with them except for late in that quarter when they wanted to stem the flow. You look at the stats. Gibbs and Murphy, 10 possessions each, 20 possessions between the 2 gun-on balls for the Carlton team. They really wanted to make a statement. Murphy being tagged. I think Mitch Wallace has had more bumps and pushes and shoves than he would have for a long time. And the Carlton Football Club and the players have really made a statement by saying, well, we understand our captain's been under the pump and we're going to stand up for him. It was really obvious early in the game how Carlton wanted to play. They were getting it through half-back and midfield. Lead up, handball inside, get inside forward 50 and see if we can get one-on-one contests. That's what they got, and they got the result on the scoreboard. For the Bulldogs, probably didn't have as much clean ball away from the stoppages, probably even around the stoppage numbers, but weren't able to get a free run straight towards 50. Hence their goals come from 2 midfielders and a small forward. So they need to get a little bit more clear ball. They need to be mindful that Carlton are pushing forward at every opportunity. They're hitting up. Their non-ball side players have got to get back and help the undersized defenders so they can come over third man and bring the ball to ground and then springboard off half-back themselves, exactly what Carlton are doing.
Well, the biggest challenge, I think, for the Western Bulldogs is to come to the facts that this side is not playing Mick Moldhouse footy. And Mick's been questioned about his style of playing, his game plan. Well, I'm telling you, this is not the way I've seen that he normally coaches. And I think that's really catching the bullies out, because you'd expect them to go around the boundary and chip and a little bit of sort of stuff and things like that. But their propensity now to actually release the footy, get it to somebody and look into the corridor and epitomise none more than Warnock running in and actually being used. And kick to him in the middle of the ground, then people streaming past, then the long direct kicks into the tall forwards, and Waite coming right up the ground. The double prong attack, they're just working magnificently. You've heard that the 5 goals between he and Henderson, absolutely sensational. But Waite's work rate right up the ground. He ran Young. He had Young, and Young is just gasping for petrol tickets. Then the ball goes in long, and Henderson just down there catching him out one-on-one. It was a one-on-one contest all around the ground. So I think there's a lot of work to be done by Brendan McCartney to marshal his troops and get back. They've looked okay at times when they've had the footy, but they haven't had it enough. And I thought that the clear takeaways around the packs and around the grounds, Bulldogs might be winning a few, but when it is at scrambly and under pressure, when Carlton's got it, be it with Gibbs or with Murphy, or if it's clean, it's clinical, and it's going to somebody in a really good position. So fantastic effort by Carlton. This is the sort of footy. If the Blues members have stayed away today and disappointed, well, you've done yourself a disservice, because your side's playing the best they've played all year.
They look as though they're enjoying themselves.
They certainly do, don't they?
Well, that clearance, that 12 clearances to 5. There you go. The cleanness that they're coming out of the contest with, they've got run off the back of the stoppage, they've got run sideways at the stoppage, which allows clean ball inside 50, doesn't allow the opposition to get numbers back. So that's a domination for Carlton.
We'll have a look at some of these stats. Total disposals to the Blues, 103 to 80, so plus 23 in the first quarter. Contested possessions, 33 to 28. The inside 50s are 16 to 13. The tackles are 18 to 10. Every stat in favour of the Blues. Even the free kicks, 8 to 5. Some of the individuals. Gibbs, 10 possessions in the first quarter. 7 kicks, 3 hand passes. Murphy, 10, 5 and 5. Carazzo, 9. He's kicked it twice and hand passed 7 times. Simpson, the opposite, 6 kicks, 1 hand pass. He's taken 4 marks. Waite, 4 marks, 7 possessions, 2 goals. And we'll go down to Henderson, who's had 5 kicks, 3 marks and 3 goals. Terrific stuff. For the Bulldogs, Ryan Griffin, is 9 possessions. Dalhouse with 8. Boyd and Cooney 6 each, and 5s for Higgins, Murphy, Stevens, McRae and Cramery. But a cracking good game, and I reckon the Blues avoided the boundary line like your smelly uncle.
One of the stats, Scotty, that would have to be worrying McCartney, there's 2 really that stand out. The tackles, 11 tackles only for the Bulldogs, but clearances 12-5. Now, and Minson hasn't had a disposal.
Yeah, and that'll be, as you said, they pride themselves on the clearances, and it's the efficiency that the Carlton team are coming out of the stoppages that will be more concerning, because there's lack of pressure around that contested area, which again is an area of the game that Brendan McCartney has really spruiked and been a real teacher of, having come from the Geelong days. So, that's a number that would have been shown on the whiteboard there at quarter time, and it's a number that they'll want to reverse in this second quarter.
Marty Blake.
Italia's gone to Henderson, boys. 16 inside 50s that quarter. Carlton for 7 goals. So the Bulldogs' defensive setup hasn't worked, has it?
All Australian ruckman Will Minson faces Warnock for the opening bounce of the second quarter. It's a 24-point lead to the Blues after a blistering first term. Good bounce. Minson up early. Cooney gets a touch. Tackles laid in there. Ball bobbles forward. Goes the Dogs' way. Socket off the ground by Walker. Doesn't clear the area. Taken by Scotland. He kicks over the wing. Thomas gets after it. Gets an awkward bounce. Has to leap up like taking a high mark. And they come from all directions to pull up Daisy Thomas, the former Magpie. And it's a block up on the wing. The umpire comes in to throw it in the air. Carlton leads 7-3 to 3-3, opening minute of the second quarter.
It's first 5 or 6 minutes will really be important for the Dogs. Third man up here, though, Gibbs. Knocks it away from the congestion. Wallace gets there first. Well tackled by Murphy, though. Ball again now under a number of players, and the umpire has to come in and call for it again.
Really pleasing from Murphy. He's had the touches, but he's tackling the tagger. He's right in this game.
10 disposals, but 4 clearances as well, just for one player. Griffin here gets the clearance for the Dogs. Back towards the wing. Locking horns there was Jones, and also Rowe gets to the back where Walker collects for the Dogs. Handball a little iffy towards Scotland. He's worried out of it. Falls to Cooney. 50 out. Cooney goes long. It's bending back. It's going to be close. It is there. It wasn't touched on the line by Walker. He thought about arguing with the umpire and thought, no, I didn't touch it, I'm not going to worry. And the Dogs do get the first of the second quarter, a really important one from Cooney from the 50. The margin back to 18 points, Carlton's won.
Sensational forward pressure, though, wasn't it? They really had him, they harassed him, they forced that, and Cooney just pounced on it. A great player, Cooney, isn't he? Because he looked up, he didn't know how far people around him. His first thought was, I'm going to handball off. Then that of sense and awareness, he just realised, no, I think I've got half a metre. He just did that little side step, put the little sharp little kicks in, then lengthened the stride, and a fantastic kick from around the 50-metre mark.
Another good bounce. Minson wins. Little hand pass, but it's fumbled by Liberatore. Taken away by Warnock. The Blues into attack. The ball pitches on at point. He gets away from Mark Murphy. He gets in and makes a contest of it with Wallace. It spills out. Taken by Higgins. Gets the hand pass away and gets it back in the old 1-2. Kicks up to the middle of the ground, and diving in is Dalhouse to take the mark low down. The hand pass away. Stringer gets it away towards Griffin. Off he goes to Dalhouse. The kick towards the goal square. Liam Jones again under pressure. Nearly had a good hole on that. Couldn't quite take the mark. And spills out of bounds alongside the behind post. Blues 7-3. The Dogs 4-3.
Last year it was a free kick, chopping of the arms, but they've relaxed it this year.
Yeah, it's a good call, Stan. Thrown in. Over the top again, Warnock. Down to Curnow. Got the hand pass to Yaron. On his left, kicking out towards Kaz Bolton, one-on-one with Young. Young prevails at ground level, gets the handball to Wallace. Wallace 60 out, pokes ambitiously into the pocket towards Liberatore.
Wrong place to kick.
Seemed a strange kick. It's gone out of play for a throw-in, 40 out from the Dogs' goal.
I think in doubt, put it on the square.
Yeah,
put it to the top of the square.
To the top of the square. Yeah.
Got the likes of Cramery and Cooney, and Jones has been plucking a few, so yeah, it was the spot to go to. Warnock reaches over the top and wins the hit out, but it's underneath and is buried in the car park. And the crowd yelling out, ball! And the umpire agrees it is a hold in the ball, and he's signalling a Dogs free kick.
How could you tell, Liz?
40 metres from goal.
He's given purely and simply on the fact that the Blues player was actually going forward. I don't know if he really dived or was sort of pushed into it, but you just know, don't you, when they're hovering, they look like, what do they look like? Some carrion waiting for the scraps, and they're just dying to blow the whistle and give a free.
Shocking, that might cost a goal, that decision. Lin John has the free kick, and he goes off the right and kicks the goal. Terrific goal considering. Might have been lucky to get it in the first place. Dogs have kicked the first two of this term. It's 7-3 Carlton, 5-3 the Dogs.
Well, we can't really argue about the decision because, I think, how do you get that ball out? There's 3 Bulldog players not allowing him to punch the ball out. I think it's the common sense got to come into that situation where umpire's got to deem that you are trying, but the Dogs are holding it in. So I think I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I just did. So, but, Ling Jong good enough to go back and convert.
It's his first kick.
But again, pressure. Their pressure has been very good the first few minutes.
Minson wins the tap down. It falls out actually to Griffin of the Dogs. His handball's initially knocked down, so Griffin goes again. He's got McRae in support, elects to bypass him and keep running and dodging and weaving and kicking towards the 50. Again, it's out wide to the right half forward flank. White first there for the Dogs, for the Blues. He's wanting the boundary and finding it about 60 out from the Bulldogs' goal. But Griffin definitely playing his best game of the season after that injury-interrupted start.
13 touches.
Thrown in. Minson and Warnock. Minson wins it. Taken by Gibbs. He's tackled. Got a handball out of the congestion. McRae, though, for the Dogs, gets a bit of a messy handball. It went away from Dalhouse towards Minson. Knocked it back into Dalhouse direction. Farmed out a little handball to Jong, who finds Wallace. Accidentally. 40 out from goal straight in front.
That's why they keep saying play in front. If it's a missed kick, you're a real chance, aren't you? And look, he was just there. Murphy was beside him, but the kick, he's just in front.
Well, it's a really important kick for Mitch because he's been tagging Gibbs. Gibbs has had 10 possessions for the game, hasn't had one for the quarter. If you can put this one over the umpire's head, it'll make a real statement.
Just right of centre from 45. It's 3 in a row to the Dogs, and they're back within a goal. What a start to the second term. It's Carlton 7-3, 45. The Bulldogs 6-3, 39. We've played 6 minutes in quarter number 2 to the MCG with Joe Sullivan.
We are waiting for a goal to be kicked in this final term. It is a 18-point margin in favour of the Suns. A couple of points to the Demons to start off with. The Suns 8-17, 65. The Demons 6-11, 47. We've played 7 minutes final term.
And those 6 or 6.5 minutes, the ball has not gone into the forward half of the Blues. It's just been totally around the packs. The intensity and everything by the Bulldogs has been sensational. The pressure's on, and they've actually converted their chances. That's the other important thing.
Well, they've hit the front and inside 50s, 18-16. Ball bobbles in the middle. Liberatore was trying to burst clear. He got grabbed by the jumper. It's still in the bullseye. It's not coming out in a hurry. And the umpire will throw it up.
I think what we got from Carlton we expected from the start.
Yes, but now,
can they maintain that energy? Can they maintain the speed of ball movement through the entire game? This will be the question that will be asked.
Up she goes. Warnock, clean possession and kicks it 50 metres deep into attack. There's no mark. With a row by Bell, who darts into an open goal and nails it. Oh, Warnock. He beat the All-Australian ruckman in the middle and set up a goal. Carlton's first for the quarter. It's 8-3 to 6-3.
Yeah, Warnock's giving Minson a lesson at the moment. You'd think there was the roles of All-Australia were reversed. He's working his way through the middle of the ground, being an option. He's beating him in clearance. He's a very good tap ruckman. I saw him up close the last couple of years when he played for the Northern Blues. He can jump. He can move through the middle of the ground, and Will's just got to... He's got to get some energy around this contest. He's got to get some body on him because that's what Will's strength is. He's got to man him up through the middle of the ground, but also at these contests he's got to use his strength, which is his strength.
So in 8 minutes we've already had 4 goals. 3 to the Dogs, 1 to the Blues. In the middle, neither ruckman won it down. And now there's a fight for it inside the centre circles. Minson got dispossessed. Going in there was McRae, got a handball. But it's now Carlton ball, still inside the centre square. Dale Thomas on his left.
Kicks high towards centre half forward. In front was Henderson. Couldn't mark. Tarley with the spoil. Murphy was dispossessed. Still at the 50. Dogs have it. Coming out bottom, Pelly getting the handball to Murphy. Lovely little left foot pass. About a 30-metre pass to McRae, who on his left, which is his right foot, if you know what I mean, kicks to Cooney, who goes short to Stevens. So the Dogs have worked it now to the Docks wing. Stevens looks up. A reasonably open forward line. He goes towards Jones against Rowe. Jones
Get him in the headlock.
He did. No free kick. At the drop, it's Crammery at the 50. Was tackled by Rowe, but good enough to get the handball to Stringer. Pumps the handball to McRae. McRae to an open goal and misses. He has missed from 4 metres out. He tried to run it along the ground, and it went across the face and struggled to score anything. 11 points, Carlton's lead.
Terrible. Oh, wrong option, boy.
Short pass in, finds Walker. Margin 11 points in favour of the Blues. Walker straight up the ground. Here's a free kick to Gibbs. He was in the action of going up and taking a mark. He was clipped. Bryce Gibbs with the free. Still inside defensive 50. Cross he goes to Tui. He doesn't take the mark, but he's got a bit of time. Had the option to come back to Walker, but he kicks up towards the wing. To a one-on-one contest. It's knocked to the front. Well done by Cripps, who gathers in his second game. Bumbles it along to Ellard. Hand pass away to Yaron, who's got pace. He runs in towards 30 and kicks the goal.
That's what you do, young McRae. Get over the umpire's head. There was good ball movement. Look, it wasn't... and this is where Carlton, they're just a little bit off. You know, they kicked the Tui, just went behind him. If they had gone in front, they're away. They're down the wing. He kicked the Casbolt through the middle of the ground, just over his head. But the Carlton were good enough, and they've been in support enough. And what I mean by that is they've had numbers around the ball to be able to mop up the mess. Yaron, that's what we want to see, isn't it? We want to see his speed. That's probably what we've been lacking. He's been on his heels a bit. The whole Carlton team have been on their heels a bit in the first 4 weeks. So Chris Yaron's speed is really important to this team. And we just saw it there.
Good response by the Blues too. A couple of minutes ago we were on how they're going to go to the 3 goals by Bulldogs, but they've responded superbly.
Mensa wins the tap to Griffin, who has been dispossessed, holding the ball. Free kick to Gibbs in the middle. So Gibbs handballs to Simpson, who was running past. Immediately takes a bounce and then draws an opponent. Handballs over the top to Tui, who'll handball back to Simpson. He's worked it to left half forward. He goes long, good kick, giving Murphy a chance on the lead. Wonderful kick from Simpson to space. And Murphy on the hook lead was able to turn around at the critical moment and hug it to his chest. Only 40 out from goal, just right of centre.
This is better than going around the boundary line.
So Mark Murphy. In he comes, the skipper. The kick is good. It's 3 in a row to Carlton after 3 in a row to the Dogs, and we're back to that 4-goal lead to Carlton, which is what it was at quarter time. 12 minutes gone, quarter number 2. It's Carlton actually by 23. 10-3-63 to the Dogs, 6-4-40.
And that's where team defence is really important. Mitch Wallace was caught out there. Ling Jong took responsibility for Mark Murphy at that particular stage. Not his direct opponent for the game, but that's what great defensive teams do. It doesn't matter who's on them, you play them on their merits as you would if it was your direct opponent like Mitch Wallace. He's taking Murphy, and the good teams just don't get it wrong. And at that particular stage, Ling Jong just took his eyes off Mark Murphy. He got 2 or 3 metres on him, and that was enough.
Shortly to the MCG, we'll get the bounce here in the middle of the ground. It's on Minson's head this time. And Minson wins it with a clean possession out of the middle. With a right foot hook kick up towards half forward. Crammery gets after it with speed. He's closed down. The ball goes out of bounds, which gives us the chance to go to Joe Sullivan at the MCG.
Still goalless in this final term. 13 minutes gone in the final term, and the margin is 19 points in favour of the Gold Coast. 8-19-67 plays Melbourne 6-12 forward gate. It's not as if both teams haven't had opportunities, just lacking that final touch in front of goal.
Joe, it doesn't sound like you're overly thrilled with the football that's being played there.
No, I'm waiting for a couple of highlights. I mean, you never know. This is a crucial part of the game. They could, one goal could spark a runner here, and that's kind of what we're hoping for.
Well, maybe the people from the MCG could whiz over to Docklands after that game's finished, because we're getting a terrific game of footy here.
We certainly are. At the moment, it is Carlton by 23 points. We've got a throw-up situation right half forward for the Dogs. Minson winning it down, but straight back into congestion, and it will be thrown up again. So we go back to that McRae miss. Had he kicked it, it would have only been 6 points the difference, and then all of a sudden it's back out to 23. From the throw-up again, there's lots of arms and legs involved and tangling bodies, and it will be thrown up once more.
And again, we see even numbers or one-on-ones all over the ground. Just does not allow for overlap from the defensive end.
Minson wins it down to Boyd. Clearance here for the Dogs. The kick inside the 50 from Boyd. He's very wide. Simpson got a hand to it, then actually lost it. I thought initially he was going to go back to Cooney, but Simpson did butter up his bad work and made it good work, and Tui can clear for the Blues under a little bit of pressure, but getting it back out to half-back. No, it's coming back with the Dogs. Oh, no, great tackle. Great tackling from the Blues. Advantage paid, they're away.
And Gibbs playing the game of his life. Runs forward to the wing, kicks to full forward, but not the best kick of all time. And is marked by Young in defence for the Dogs. Gibbs is up to 15 possessions. Young, the short pass, finds Liberatore on defensive 50. 23-point lead to the Blues. We played 15 minutes of the second quarter. Little Libba out towards centre wing. Young drops an absolute pudding. Leaves it there for Cripps. Hand passes back to Scotland. He's got a touch of the fumbles. Cripps fumbles. Turn it over. Young gets it away. On the give and go is Higgins. Over the top he goes. Bontempelli. Good pick up, son. Hand pass over his shoulder. Didn't quite hit the target with Crameri, but he's strong. He gets away from Yaron. Yaron comes again and gets him. Play on, says the umpire.
It's got to be rewarded.
Spills to Lucas. Blues on the rebound. Curnow sweeps a hand pass. Warnock, the galloping dinosaur, kicks from half back to half forward. Gets through. Talia's there for the Dogs. Oh, he might be beaten here. Ellard plucks it off the deck. Away to Curnow. Poor old kick, but it might work out. And the mark's taken by Everett. About 40 metres from goal.
Geez, I wish Warnock had a bounce, and it would have reminded me of Harry Madden out of Wavey that day.
I called that one against Sean Wren.
Yeah,
it was a ripper.
It was magic.
Well, against his old side. Andreas Everett, not far off centre. 40 out. Kicks for goal. And kicks another one for the Blues. They're 11-3 to the Bulldogs. 6 goals for.
Really? Well, they're just cleaner. They're cleaner what they're doing, and just amazing that the Bullies just under a little bit of pressure, a little bit of scoreboard pressure. But again, Drewy, you just couldn't believe, could you, that Madden, Matt carbon copy, that Warnock would run to the centre of the ground and they would give the ball to him in the middle of the ground, and he just went through, got the ball quickly in there. Again, the pressure on. This is just, sorry to upset you, Mick, but I just like this brand of footy.
I think the players out there wearing navy blue jumpers like the brand of footy as well.
No doubt.
So the biggest lead of the game, 29 points to Carlton, and Warnock decisively winning the ruck down again, although Wallace picks it up for the Dogs under pressure. Got a handball to Talia coming off the square. Spirals it towards half forward. Dalhouse gets it on the bounce. Handballs to Boyd. The kick inside 50 was good. Juggling, yes, Mark Cranley on the lead. About the third bite after it initially bounced off his chest. He's marked at 45 out from goal, but he is only 10 metres in from the boundary, right of centre.
I'll just go back to their centre bounce. Warnock against Jones got the absolute advantage, just punched it forward. I think you've got to get a lot more out of that when you've got such an advantage. I think it's either to get the forwards off the back of the line and get your mids running onto it into an open 50 arc, or something better than what they got.
Stuart Cramery from just inside the 50, leans back on it, doesn't like it. No, it's missing to the right. He's hooked the kick, only a behind. So the Dogs have had their chances. They've missed quite a few easy ones. And the margin now 28 points Carlton's way.
Let's go to Joe at the MCG. Any goals yet?
Yes, mate. Game on. Nathan Jones has just snapped one for the Demons. So they move within 13 points. Though Gary Ablett is lining up from just outside the 50 for a reply for the Suns. So we'll wait for the kick. 18 and a half minutes gone. The margin as it currently stands is 13 points. 8-19-67 to 7-12-54. But Gary Ablett's just extended it back out. Another goal for the Suns. They are now 9-19-73. The margin back out to 19 points.
Goal to Gazza, always worth waiting for. The ball's on centre wing, city side of the ground, and it spills over the boundary line to get a rare boundary throw-in. I've seen games where by this stage we'd had 100 boundary throw-ins. Don't seem to have had too many here today. 11-3-69 to 6-5-41. A 28-point lead to the Blues, who've kicked the last 4 goals in a row. At the boundary throw-in, Warnock comes over the top, gets it close to the boundary line, and it's eventually seen over by Adam Cooney. Earlier on, the Crows defeated the GWS Giants by 65 at the Adelaide Oval, and Dangerfield kicked 5.
So a throw-in on the city wing. Warnock again winning it down well to Carazzo. Handball to Tui from a standing start. He kicks towards half forward. Casbob gets rid of his opponent, then dropped the mark. He has got Bell in support, who gets a handball away as he was tackled. Scotland, the only other Carlton player in the vicinity, got worried out of it. Wallace comes up with a footy to the Dogs. Now Pickin. Oh, they've turned it over the Blues. Too many handballs. Snap from the pocket from Waite. Is missing near side. Only a minor score, but good forward line pressure. Again, something we haven't seen a lot of from Carlton over the first month of the season. They're doing a lot right. They lead by 29. 19 played in the second.
See if the Dogs can get an end-to-end goal. Murphy gives him a chance. He kicks straight up the corridor. In front, Jones, a punch by Warnock. Comes down to the front. Blues have it at ground level. Thomas, a hand pass into Walker. Hooks across his body. Mark Murphy's camped there. Hands to it, but couldn't complete the mark. Gets through to Waite. Hand pass missed Murphy. The whistle has gone. It was a throw, said the umpy. And it's going to come back and be a Dogs free kick on defensive 50. Blues lead by 29 points at the 20-minute mark of the second quarter.
It's almost like he forgot to use his other hand to punch it. Bit of confusion as to who's to take the kick. It's going to be Jackson McRae. He's coming up for his 11th disposal. Plays on. And from left half back will kick towards the wing. He wants Minson. Up in the pack also White. Palmed it down and it was good because it went to Yaron. Short kick there from Carazzo, who got the handball from Yaron. And now it's Cripps kicking it inside the 50. No mark at the front. Murphy comes through with the footy. Keeps it low. Oh, that's class. That is class. From Mark Murphy, who was front and centre, saw it was a vacant square so he could keep it low, and he bounced it home, and the Blues get out by 35. Carlton 12-4, 76. The Western Bulldogs 6-5, 41.
All class.
Yeah,
without question. Just magnificent. Just hit the pack, full pace, but in the right spot. Gave himself every chance. Didn't matter where the ball was going to fall. He was in the best chance to be able to just take it and then just bent it around the body. Never in any doubt. We're right behind it. A great goal. Gee, look, after the first 3 goals of the Bulldogs, just question about where this would go. Well, I'm going to tell you, they have answered it in emphatic fashion. They are totally in control of this game at the moment now, the Blues.
From the bounce in the middle, crowd yelling out ball. Ball's just about got out of the second circle. That's all.
I just want to know, Bryce Gibbs grabbed that ball, was tackled. He didn't handball. He didn't kick it. How did he get rid of it?
Well, he tempted to. That's all he had to do. He tempted to put on his boot.
I don't think he did. I thought he was just wrapped and let it go.
Warnock wins the hit out. Comes down to Gibbs. His kick is smothered. He sockers it away and it's the umpire. Gee, that favoured the Bulldogs. The entitled to call a stoppage there. Here come the Dogs from centre wing with a kick by McRae. Up inside the 50. Everett has it. Loses it. A hand pass comes out to Dalhouse, who undergrounds it through for a goal. Dalhouse gets his second and stops a run by the Blues. If a kick hits the umpire, is it just play on? You just rubber the green?
Well, we saw it yesterday as well. It hit the boundary umpire and it stayed in play, and I think the Collingwood went down and kicked your goal. So, no, I don't think it's any rule, and maybe something they should look at. But when you're not going well, when you're not kicking goals, you've got to manufacture something. And the Bulldogs, got a bit of a lucky break there with the ball hitting the umpire, with the kick off the ground. Just got it going forward, got it going their way. Cranberry's been strong. He's been tackled a couple of times, but the strength in his core has been able to get the ball out to a player that's been free. And it's been really important in 2 goals that the Bulldogs have kicked this quarter.
And it's broken a run of 5 unanswered goals from the Blues. Carlton will go forward here through Gibbs. Bounces a footy towards half forward, but the Dogs have it. Griffin, Boyd linking up with hands. Now Murphy. Handballs back to Boyd. Boyd kicks towards Dalhouse, over his head in a one-on-one with Simpson. So at the back, it's first there. Dalhouse went off the ground and missed it. Let Simpson in, but a big crashing tackle.
Fantastic.
Gee, I thought he was in trouble there. Springer with the tackle. I thought Simpson could have been pinged for holding the ball, but the umpire said no.
No private
Throw it
duty,
out.
I guess, is deemed.
Yes, he deemed that. Whether it was right, I'm not sure.
That was my choice of words.
Vincent wins it down out towards Cooney, but he can't control it before it goes over for a throw-in right half forward for the Dogs.
Score from the MCG, Joe Sullivan.
Guys, we've only got a few minutes to go here, and the Demons are a sniff. They've kicked back-to-back goals. They trail by 13 points. The Gold Coast, 10-19-79. The D's in 9-12-66, and all of a sudden I'm on the edge of my seat.
Benson wins a hit out. Picken gets a hand pass to Boyd, who goes long for goal, and he's away to the right-hand side and misses. 1 goal, 2 to Matty Boyd. He had 39 possessions last week. He's not quite on target to get that this week. Let me see.
11.
He's got 11.
Everett kicks to himself and then goes extremely long and effective. Simpson takes the mark for the Blues. Kicks up towards Scotland, who marks. He's on the wing, so they're moving it quickly again, the Blues. Scotland goes long. Where's Waite? Oh, there he is. Thanks for coming. He's marked it. 40 out from goal, straight in front. Edged out his opponent with a good use of the body, and then it just stuck in his hands.
3 kicks. End-to-end, 3 kicks. And that's been the theme for Carlton all day. Get it inside 50, as we mentioned earlier. Mismatches everywhere down there, and they're giving their forwards a chance, and they're repaying them.
Most goals Carlton have kicked in a game this year is 12. I'll beat that before half-time here.
They will if Jared Waite can kick his third. He absolutely can. So Waite with 3, Henderson with 3, Carlton with 13. 13-4-82. The Dogs 7-6-48. We've played 25 minutes in the second term.
Well, they just really dominated this game. Their confidence level is up. It's been built on some real hard work. But again, just the impressive thing is just ball movement. The ball movement, once they've got it, releasing players. Simpson's been a fantastic out there. Just to go to him and he gets the footy, takes off, and just the ball, as soon as we've got it, look up, go long, and just down there, if Waite doesn't get it, well, Henderson's there, and they just got that superiority over there to direct opponents, and Waite used his body terrific. I thought really that his opponent went to the ground a little bit far too easy.
Warnock, what a hit in the middle, down to Bell, who thumps it long to full forward. Waite was caught behind. It's a scrap at ground level. It's going to be a Dogs free kick to ease the pressure. Let's go to Joe at the MCG.
Well, Greg Broughton's just given the Suns a little bit more breathing space with a goal. 11-19-85 are the Suns. The D's are 9-12-66. We're just about to go 27 minutes gone in the final term, so maybe not quite enough time for the D's.
Jean tried to run away and didn't realise that Yaron was close enough. Yaron got him red hot. And why that isn't a free kick, Umpy, I have no idea. Boo, your loudest, Carlton fans.
Brilliant tackle.
Reward it. Reward it. I mean, that's got. If you take off, you've got prior opportunity, surely.
Very, very strange. Thrown up, 55 out from Carlton's goal. Again, Warnock winning the tap down. Falls out the back of the pack. I thought Stevens was going to emerge with the footy, but then gets put back into the pack. And the umpire will come and throw it up.
They'll pay a free kick for a poor bugger who's on the bottom of a pack with 5 blokes on him, and they don't pay that.
Umpire throws it up. One down again by Warnock. Bell for the Blues. Round the body, back inside the 50. Lurking his weight again. He picks up the footy once it got to the ground. Then it comes out to Allard. Left foot snap. It's high. It's not coming back. It's through for a behind. Carlton 13-5-83. The Dogs 7-6-48. We've played 28 minutes now in the second term.
That's been a win, Allard on Murphy. Murphy hasn't had much of the ball, and Allard's had a couple of shots on goal. Murphy's run from half-back is, something that the Bulldogs are going to need in this second half. Oh,
here's a false start to kick in by Higgins, and he ran over the line anyway.
He never touched the ball to his boot then.
Well, Higgins was in a muddled mind. He was going to kick it a mile down the middle.
He's blaming teammates now.
Then he stopped. Out. Then he went for the short one. That was a real mess. So it's thrown up in the air at the top of the goal square. Gives the Blues a big chance here. Wallace has it for the Dogs and kicks out of bounds on the full. Just threw it on the boot. And this will be a shot for goal or an inboard pass from Carrazzo. He's only about 30 metres or 25 metres from goal. It's a real mess. Started by Higgins. Attempted kick in. An absolute howler. Carrazzo goes for the banana. It's across the face. Henderson not without a show. And finished up going out of bounds on the opposite side. But it's going to be a free kick to Henderson. Held in the marking contest by Talia. Well, he's got the impossible angle just like Carrazzo had. Now he's giving it to Stevie J. He's facing pretty much away from goal. He's facing to the centre circle in the middle of the ground. He'll hook it across his body. Henderson. It's across the face. It's back out of bounds on the... Oh, no, it's above. That was a bit funny.
They need the half-time siren, the Bullies. They need to be regrouped and settle down because they just lost it at the moment.
A long kick this time, back into play. Oh, Jones into the pack. Jumped high, couldn't mark, but loved the jump. And it's gone out of play. Martin Blake.
Gee, we spoke to Dale Morris before the game. The Bulldogs really miss him, don't they? Just the spot fires that he puts out. Drew, this is a bit of 80s footy today. We might watch the highlights on the winners later tonight.
I'll just grow my hair a bit, buddy.
Thrown in. One down by Minson. Stevens for the Dogs. Gets a handball to Cooney, who was running past. Caught on his left, kicking towards half forward. Stringer the only option. Dalhouse lurked at the bottom of the pack, but it's ricocheted out of play for a throw-in. We might go to Joe Sullivan at the MCG. The Demons, any chance?
Not looking likely. Tom Lynch just had a chance to ice the game for the Suns, but he's sprayed it, so the margin now is 14 points with 31 minutes about to clock up on the clock. So 11-20-86 are the Suns, 10-12-72 are the Ds.
Minson wins the tap down to Boyd of the Dogs, to Griffin, now to McRae, close on the boundary, left foot centering ball to the square. There's no dog there though, it's Carlton's footy, and good handball there from Everett. I'll call it a handball. It was...
he served it.
He did. He did serve it. Dogs have it back. The kick inside the 50 is not good. Falls a little short, and Simpson takes the mark. We're having a look at the replay. Oh, I'm not sure what you'd call that.
The Sam Stozer. Kick over half-back. Punch to the front. Comes to Bontempelli. Off the left. A beautiful kick. And Boyd dives in and marks just inside the boundary line. Stringer.
He hasn't had much of an impact on the game, but gee, this would be a good one for him, his own confidence, and for the team. Tough angle though.
Gee, we've seen some shots for goal from wide angles in the last few minutes. Couple up the other end for Carlton. Now Stringer can hardly see daylight between the goalposts. Right forward pocket goes the banana, and it's across the face, and it pitches and bounces out of bounds. How that can bounce before going out without somebody getting in there and marking it, I'm not sure. So it's a boundary throw in, and still the Bulldogs with a chance. They trail by 36. They need a goal from this. The throw in will get the ball back into the corridor. Warnock and Minson. Scotland has it for Carlton. Hand pass is good, and they're going to be able to get out of trouble.
Yeah, Simpson on his non-preferred foot, though. The kick wasn't great, and Murphy's knocked it out of play. Joe Sullivan, you said Melbourne couldn't win. They've kicked another goal.
They have, but it was right on the final sign, I'm afraid, Whiting. So full-time here, the Ds, 11-12-78, have gone down to the Gold Coast. 11 goals, 20-86. It was those 8 missed shots in the end that proved to be the difference. I'll be back with Lindsay Gilby for a full wrap a little bit later on.
Okay, so the Suns over the Demons from the throw-in. It initially went Carlton's way, but now it's locked up and it will be thrown up. Left half forward for the Dogs. We've played nearly 33 minutes here in the second term. The amount of goals that have been kicked in this game. A bit of a free-for-all. Thrown up. Again, Warnock wins the tap. Tui out of the congestion. Handball's in the Bell direction. He overran the bouncing ball. Lucas didn't. Handball, though, missed Tui. And allows the Dogs in here. Good handball there. Came out from Bontempelli. Now with Griffin. He got tackled, but got the handball to Cramry from 50. Didn't look, just kicked, and it bounces through. Amazing goal. That was never going to go through for a goal through the air, but it bounced a metre short. Lovely little off spinner through for a goal. That's how you kick them. Don't look, just hope. Carlton 13-6-84. The Bulldogs 8-6-54, so the lead back to 5 goals to Carlton on the stroke of half-time.
Well, just the ability of the Bulldogs end to be in support of each other. There was about 3 or 4 tackles, good tackles from Carlton, but they were able to get their hands free. Bulldog numbers were there. They just edged it forward again. And again, lucky bounce, but you've got to be, you've got to have the ball to get it through the big sticks, and Crameri
and reward
did
for
that.
effort.
Reward
He's
for
done
effort.
some terrific hard bullocking work. He's been fantastic.
It wasn't a Nathan Lyon off spinner, it was a Matoma Lithiran that it threw. A bit more spin than Nathan Lyon.
Yeah. Dogs coming forward from the centre, bounce again. Hand pass comes to Stringer. Back he goes to Boyd, who kicks wide. Crameri on the lead. Oh, he should have gobbled it. He dropped the chest mark. Close to the boundary line, and he is bundled out. He's got to be marking those. A bit of to-do there with Andrew Walker. Chest-to-chest stuff between Crameri and Walker. He'd be frustrated. That's why you come across. Bulldogs get you because you're a forward. They want you to be kicking goals, and he has kicked 6 in the last couple of weeks. And fresh off getting his first for the day, he should have been kicking for his
He's going to
second.
pay for it.
Well, we should see Carlton just kick the ball around here, take some time off the clock. They're the ones that don't want it. Well, they're not going to get a chance.
Just as Lucas got up to take his free kick, he needed to because he only had 4 touches in the first half, and he hadn't had a kick. So he's looking for his very first kick once he won that free, but the siren beat him.
There's only 2 players on the field that haven't had a kick, and he's one of them.
So half-time here, Carlton, they've kicked 13 goals, 6. Now, their highest goal tally were in round 1 and 2, where they kicked 12 and 12. The last 2 weeks, they've kicked 8 and 7 for an entire game. And here they are, 13 goals, 6 at half-time, 84. The Bulldogs, 8 goals, 6, 54. Terrific game of football. The goal scorers for the Blues: Henderson, 3 goals, Waite, 3. Mark Murphy has kicked 2. And singles for Gibbs, Yarran, Bell, Everett and Ellard. And for the Bulldogs, their goals have come from Dalhouse 2, 1 each to Wallace, Boyd, Crameri, Cooney, Stevens and Zhong. And the Blues are going off to their rooms to warm applause from their fans who've been frustrated in the first month of the season. Carlton coming here 17th on the ladder, 0 and 4, and what a display they put on in the first half. Let's hear from Westy and Stan Alves before we go to other commitments and a summary of the game at the MCG.
Well, we've seen good football. We've seen one-on-one football. We've seen corridor football. We've seen free-flowing football. We've seen lots of goals, and it's exactly why people want to come to the game, for those aspects of the game. Carlton have been terrific. Their pressure, their forward pressure to start with has been great. Their stoppage work. Warnock's been terrific. He's nearly been the most influential player on the ground with his ability to be able to give the Carlton players first use. The leaders of Carlton, they've really had an influence, and we were looking for that, and we haven't been let down. Gibbs has got the 18 touches. Murphy's got the 14 and 2 goals, being closely checked by Mitch Wallace. He needs help. Team defence is really important. Ling Jong let Murphy get out at one stage. He just needs to take responsibility when Murphy, who they've identified as a key player to stop, just didn't do the job. Jared Waite, mismatches that he's been able to create with Young and Wood and Talia and Williams down back has been a real bonus for Carlton today. And they're playing with direct football, which is giving their forwards an opportunity to be one-on-one. The Bulldogs need a lift. Griffin's played well, probably his best game for the year. Dalhouse down forward's been terrific. Mitch Wallace needs a chop out. They're obviously a real emphasis on getting the ball to Murphy, so he needs a chop out. Will Minson in the ruck needs to lift, and Robert Murphy off halfback, they probably need to get a bit more run off him.
Glad you came to the footy today, Stan.
I am. I've been disappointed in what's been served up in a lot of games, but certainly not this one. We've had a fantastic game of football, and the reality is that Carlton made the running in the first quarter. Terrific effort by the Bulldogs to fight their way back. 3 goals in a matter of minutes, but then Carlton answered in emphatic form, and I agree totally with everything you said, Scotty. Just to reinforce it again, the dominance of Warnock, their running players, probably cleaner. Gibbs, Murphy and Simpson have been fantastic, and they've just got those key blokes up there. Not that the Bulldogs forwards haven't been good, but it's just that the dominance that Waite and Henderson really have had over their opposition down the other end of the ground, and it's been the style of play that's probably impressed me from a Blues point of view. So I would say that there's some
some work to be done by both coaches. Certainly the Bulldogs will be looking for a lift from a number of other players. I think they've just got to get more effort out of more players to get back into the game. And I'm sure that Mick Mullis will be saying to these guys, it's been very good for half a game, but, gee, don't blow it. If we go back into our shells, let's stick with the things that have got us to this good 30-point lead.
So the Gold Coast have beaten Melbourne by 8 points at the MCG. We'll go there shortly for a full-time summary. And earlier on, the Crows defeated the GWS Giants by 65. Now, let's take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News read by Paul McCarthy. 2 children have been found dead in a house in Melbourne's northeast this afternoon. Police were called to the Longmuir Road home at Watsonia at around 2:30. A man has been taken into custody. It's believed he knows the children. Advocates for people with disabilities have slammed the timing of the federal government's decision to flag possible changes to their benefits. Eliza Borrello reports from Parliament House.
Currently, family doctors provide reports supporting claims for the disability support pension. But the Social Services Minister, Kevin Andrews, is considering getting independent doctors to reassess eligibility.
Where people can work, the best form of welfare is work.
Craig Wallace from People with Disabilities says his timing is cruel and inappropriate.
This is a time when people are meant to be spending time with their family.
Labor frontbencher Brendan O'Connor agrees.
People would have woken up very concerned that their very modest income is under attack.
Mr Andrews says the government is committed to keeping a safety net for people who need it. Eliza Borrello, ABC News, Canberra.
Divers have so far recovered 17 bodies from inside the South Korean ferry which capsized on Wednesday with hundreds of school children on board. 49 people are confirmed to have died. More than 250 are still missing. The BBC's Jonathan Head says recovery efforts have been hampered by rough seas and strong currents.
Although the currents are still very strong, they're hoping that in the next few days those currents will ease off a little bit and they'll be able to increase the pace of the work that they've been doing. They've also established much safer lines going from the surface down to the hull of the ship. So that's helped them to improve the pace of what they're doing, but it is still very, very slow. We watch the police boats coming in behind us here and then landing on the dock. There's a lot of silence. They've got special trestle tables laid out for laying the bodies when they bring them out, and they alert the families. The lists are updated just a short distance from me, so they can look at any kind of identifying characteristics they've seen on these bodies and see whether they think it might be one of their own relatives. And it's a very drawn-out, very gruelling process.
4 French journalists who were abducted in Syria nearly a year ago have arrived back in France. The BBC's Hugh Schofield reports from Paris.
The military transport plane bringing the men back from Turkey touched down at an airbase at Évreux, west of Paris. There they were given a quick medical check before flying on by helicopter to another airport just outside the capital. Here there's a red carpet reception with President Hollande and the Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius joining their families to welcome them home. The journalists were found tied and gagged on Friday evening in the no man's land separating Syria and Turkey. They'd been held by a group close to Al-Qaeda, with whom negotiations have been going on for several weeks.
3 people have been attacked by dogs in separate incidents in Sydney this long weekend. Rebecca Bruce reports.
The latest dog attack happened at an inner Sydney grocery store in the early hours of this morning. A shop owner confronted a man and woman trying to open the store's cash register. When the woman tried to stop them, the pair's American Staffordshire Terrier attacked, leaving a large wound in her arm. The woman was taken to hospital and the pair was arrested. The dog has been impounded by council rangers while police investigate. Last night, a man in the inner city suburb of Redfern was bitten several times on the hand and arm when he tried to stop a dog attack. And a 92-year-old woman who suffered severe head injuries after being attacked by an American pit bull on Friday remains in a serious but stable condition in hospital.
The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and their son Prince George are heading to Canberra after spending their last day in Sydney at an Easter church service in the zoo. Antoinette Collins reports.
It was the first public outing for Prince George since arriving in Australia last week, visiting the Bilby enclosure at Sydney's Taronga Zoo with his father Prince William and mother Catherine. The 9-month-old prince wriggled with excitement at getting up close to the native animal. Senior keeper Paul Davies says he seemed very interested.
George wanted to grab the Bilby's ear when he had the opportunity. We had
I said, oh, look, you can let George touch the bilby, but they said, no, he'll have one ear less. He'll going to grab it and probably not let it go.
The royal couple then continued their tour of the zoo baby-free, feeding some kangaroos and watching a live bird show. Earlier in the day, they attended Mass at St Andrew's Cathedral and signed the First Fleet Bible. It's been a hectic schedule for the Duke and Duchess, who will have a rest day in Canberra tomorrow before a trip to Uluru.
Now to the capital city weather for tomorrow. Sydney will be sunny, 23. Melbourne, chance of showers from late morning, 22. Brisbane, sunny, 29. Perth, partly cloudy, 24. Adelaide, partly cloudy, 28 with wind easing. Hobart, evening rain, 16. Canberra, partly cloudy, 18 after some early fog, and Darwin, afternoon showers tomorrow and 33 degrees. ABC News.
Hi, I'm Simon Marnie. The ABC Delicious Magazine Produce Awards are on again. Nominations are open in the following categories: Outstanding Farmers Market and ABC Local Radio Community Award. Go to deliciousproduceawards.com.au to nominate. Nominations close 11th of April. The 2014 Delicious Produce Awards, proudly supported by ABC Local Radio.
Sunday footy.
Grandstand AFL. To the back where Walker collects the Dogs. Handball a little iffy towards Scotland. He's worried out of it. Falls to Cooney. 50 out. Cooney goes long. It's bending back. It's going to be close. It is there. Towards Midson. Knocked it back in the Downhouse direction. Farmed out a little handball to John, who finds Wallace. Accidentally. 40 out from goal straight in front.
That's why they keep saying play in front.
Just right of centre from 45. It's 3 in a row to the Dogs, and they're back within a goal. What a start for the second term. Good enough to get the handball to Stringer. Pumps the handball to McRae. McRae to an open goal and misses. He has missed from 4 metres out. He tried to run it along the ground, and it went across the face and struggled to score anything. 11 points, Carlton's lead.
Terrible. Oh, wrong option, boy.
In his second game, bumbles it along to Ellard. Hand pass away to Yaron, who's got pace. He runs in towards 30 and kicks the goal.
That's what you do, young McRae.
Cripps kicking it inside the 50. No mark at the front. Murphy comes through with the footy. Keeps it low. Oh, that's class.
Grandstand AFL. On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Well, what a half of football. It produced 21 goals, and the Blues have exceeded their previous best for the season by half-time. They're 13-6 to 8-6 and lead by 30 points at the long break. Well, earlier on, Adelaide beat the GWS Giants by 65, and Melbourne had a close one against the Gold Coast at the MCG. And here's Joe to chat it out.
Thanks very much, Drew. And Lindsay Gilby joins me alongside here in the commentary box. The full-time score here, Gold Coast, 11 goals, 20-86. They defeated Melbourne, 11-12-78. So it was 8 points difference, with the Demons having led at quarter-time by a point. The Suns then overtook them and led by 20 by half-time. It was 19 at three-quarter-time. And the D's almost got over the line, Lindsay. They a couple more minutes and they might have got even closer.
Yeah, you're right. I think the Gold Coast kept them in it virtually the whole game with their inaccurate kicking. There's some great performances. Gary Ablett was just Gary Ablett. Nathan Jones, he was the one real four-quarter contributor for the Demons. He was fantastic. He kept them in the game, then virtually got them to a point where they could have won the game. He was fantastic. Yeah, Gold Coast dominated the game. They probably should have won by more in the end. I think the review system will come under place. It was probably one of the worst decisions I've seen in football. Just
to take it back, I think it was in the first quarter.
First quarter, correct.
There was a goal that was given, despite the fact it had gone to review, and from what we could all see, it was clearly not just touched, punched through for a behind.
It was a 2-metre ricochet that's gone over the goal line that the umpires called a goal. But anyway, the Gold Coast Suns, they did what they had to do to get the result, and they were fantastic.
If you were amongst the coaching staff in the Melbourne camp, the likes of Paul Roos, what do you take out of today's result? Because obviously the spotlight is on them. They knocked off Carlton last week and got their season on the board. But what would you take out of today's performance?
I think their team defence was a lot better across the ground. Early on, they were playing probably too much uncontested football. They went back to man-on-man, I reckon, at half-time. but their backs pushed up the ground a lot more. They were cutting the ball off. Gold Coast couldn't get it through. That's when Melbourne got back into the game. So I think, looking at the game, I think Paul Rees would be reasonably happy with their team defence, even though they've still got a lot of improvement left.
What about on the other side of the coin? I know you mentioned that the Gold Coast just sort of did what they needed to do today, but I was very impressed by Matt Shaw. He covered a lot of the ground. Aaron Hall before he got subbed off, and also who was the other one that's really sort of Brandon Matera up forward as well. He sort of caught my eye. And whilst Gary Ablett was the leading possession getter with 32 for the Suns, I don't think he had necessarily the impact that we're sort of used to seeing him having on a game, even though he did get a lot of the footy.
You probably don't notice a lot of things that Gary does in close. His hands are very good, but he puts players in good positions by little dinky kicks, little dinky handballs that people don't recognise. Surely the coaches do, but you spoke about Shaw. He was the guy that got off the leash today with guys like Ablett, Richatelli, Prestia. Koladashny was good again, O'Meara and Swallow. Shaw kind of found himself running around on his own at stages and using the ball really, really well. He was placing it for his forwards to run onto, and he was very damaging through the midfield. Didn't get a lot of it, but what he did was quality.
One other question I want to do before we go into the votes. For both teams, I know you're involved with the St Kilda Football Club, but would you just spend maybe a couple of extra hours maybe during the week on goal kicking? Because to my count, there was 32 missed shots and probably half a dozen others that either went out of bounds or didn't quite make the distance.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if it's allowed that the Suns are allowed to train on the MCG the day they get down, the day before they get down to come and play. But I think that should be a priority or something that they should push for. Melbourne missed a lot of easy goals, but Gold Coast, the score probably doesn't reflect their dominance. If they had a kick straight early, I think they were 2 goals, 8 at quarter time, but they probably missed 6 within 20 metres, and probably half of them were virtually directly in front from 15, 20 metres. It didn't look windy down there. That's something that they've got to address during the week.
Indeed. Well, let's get on to the votes before we wrap up with the goal kickers. How did you and Chris Connolly see the votes?
I've given one to Greg Broughton. I thought he was fantastic, slowly finding his feet again at his new club. I thought he was really good. He had 25 disposals and kicked a real clutch goal at the end. Nathan Jones was fantastic for Melbourne. He started on Ablett, probably didn't get the job done, but his effort, especially from half-time onwards, was fantastic. He had 30 possessions, but 9 of those were inside 50s. He was very noticeable for the Melbourne Footy Club. And surprise, surprise, Gary Ablett, 3 votes. Even though you thought he had a quiet game, he was really, really influential. 32 possessions, 17 of those contested, and 2 goals. He was fantastic.
Indeed. Well, let's go through those goal kickers. Multiples of 2 to Brandon Matera, Tom Lynch, Gary Ablett Jr. and David Swallow, with the singles to Aaron Hall, Sam Day and Greg Broughton. And then for the Demons, 2 to James Frawley and Chris Dawes, and then singles to Cam Pedersen, Jake Kennedy-Harris, Dean Turlick popped up, Nathan Jones, Jeremy Howe, Jack Viney and Michael Evans. Not a big crowd here at the MCG on Easter Sunday, just 17,243. That saw the Gold Coast hang on by 8 points.
Good on you, Joe and Gilbs at the MCG. That's a pretty poor crowd at the mighty Melbourne Cricket Ground. Tomorrow for Geelong and Hawthorn, I think there might be a few more. It'll be an absolute cracker to complete round 5. Well, here it is half-time, and we've seen Carlton just come out of their slumber. They've kicked 13 goals, 6 to half-time, and lead by 5 goals. Bulldogs 8 goals, 6. The players out doing their loosening up prior to the second half. Just some of the stats. Carlton 185 possessions to 162. The inside 50s actually 28 to 27 in favour of the Bulldogs. The free kicks favour the Blues 13 to 9. Some of the individuals, hard to split Gibbs and Murphy. In fact, Gibbs has had 18 possessions, Murphy's had 14, and if you've got them in Dream Team, they're both 70 points to half-time. Simpson, 14 possessions, Carazzo, 12, Curnow, Bell, Scotland and Tui, as well as Andrew Walker with 11 possessions each. For the Dogs, Ryan Griffin leads the way with 16, from Dalhouse 14, McRae and Boyd 13, Higgins, Cramery and Cooney each with 10 possessions. I don't know whether the Dogs are totally out of this game, but the way Carlton played the first half, they might be hard to rein in.
Well, they're not totally out of the game. Look, they've just got to be close enough at three-quarter time, and that's what I've written in my notes are just, they've got to peg back the lead. Don't think it's going to happen all this quarter. They're 30 points down. Look, they can score quickly. They've just got to defend better. We know they're good when they've got the ball in their hand. They're free-flowing. They can move the ball quick. But, Carlton averaged, before today, 72 points a game. They're 84 already at half-time, and the Bulldogs have averaged 99 points against. And, they've just conceded too many goals, too easy.
It's almost like, Scotty and Stan, that Carlton are playing like they used to under Brett Ratton. It's almost like just
what they're doing.
They're
actually playing instinctive footy. It's a sort of footy that you just brought up playing, and that's what's happening rather than the robotic situation. Just take those options. But for me, I'm going to be interested to see. It's one-on-one all day. How long will the Blues go before they start thinking about saving the game? That's going to be an interesting one. Will they continue to push on and just really ram it home, or will they get in a situation where they think let's drop a man back, let's go in that situation? That's the thing I'm going to be looking very carefully for.
And that's what I said also in my notes about stay brave.
Yes.
Because they were brave early. They moved the ball inside. They used the corridor. They run from behind. They went quick, got it inside forward 50 to mismatches. Inside their forward 50. That's why they scored quick. So they need to stay brave.
And especially when the Bullies kicked those three in the 6 minutes at the start of that quarter. There must have been a temptation in the group to say, look, let's just push somebody back at this point of time. But they didn't, Scotty. They stayed brave, and then they responded by kicking the next three unanswered.
And what I'd like to see, the Bulldogs will, at times push the number back. I'd like to see Carlton have 7 forwards. Even the numbers up. They've got the game on their terms. Don't allow the Bulldogs to create that run from behind, which is what they want.
So we're ready to go for the second half here at Docklands, with the Blues in front by 5 goals. As we start with Warnock winning the tap like he did so often in the first half. But immediately the ball went down to Wallace, who was tackled, and it will be thrown up.
Hit-outs were only 25-20. It seemed a bigger margin.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Warnock winning it down again to Thomas, and he's locked up. Dale Thomas was a little quiet in the first half.
I think the difference is that when Warnock has won them, so many they've just been clear and they've had a real good break, whereas if Minson does, they're just falling at his feet and then it becomes a real dogfight.
Minson did win that one down. Warnock tried to get a kick, it went straight back into the congestion. Griffin got a handball out to Stevens, handballs to McRae, now to Picken from the logo, kicks it high. Now Dale Thomas is in the best position to mark and dropped it once he edged out Stevens. He was able to get it at ground level, got a handball to Waite, goes to the outside of his boot towards Bell, who knocks it onto Everett. Now to Carazzo from the logo, very short pass to Yaron, not 15, runs around in a circle, kicks to centre half forward. Murphy kept running, and he's marked at 45 out from goal. He was involved in that stoppage out on the wing, and he just kept running once Carlton won the footy, and away he went, and Wallace couldn't keep up.
Oh, what a game he's played, considering all the flack that he's had during the week for the captain and the lack of leadership and all that was going on in the public eye. He's come out and played footy.
Coming up for his 15th disposal, and this would be his 3rd goal, straight in front. The kick is out to the right. He went the buddy arc. He really went wide to try and perhaps get the extra distance from the top of the 50, and he's pushed it to the right, and only a minor score. It's the first score of the second half. Carlton now by 31.
Now, if you've just joined us, just repeating the subs, Gian Siracusa is the sub for the Bulldogs, which is a surprise to nobody, but Chris Judd is subbing for the Blues in his first game for the year, hasn't had a run as yet. Dogs bring it out slow from defence. McRae has it on defensive 50, slightly on the City side of the ground. Kick by McRae as Pack gathers on the City wing. Punch from behind by Rowe. Jones in the middle. The Dogs have it. Griffin breaks free and kicks towards half forward. Awkward bouncing ball. Stringer, good pickup. Well played, son. He puts it out wide. Easton Wood up from defence, gathers the bouncing ball, delivers the hand pass to Griffin, back to Wood, busts the tackle, gets the hand pass away, Cramry from 15, goals! Great stuff, Doggies. Margin back to 25.
Well, exactly the start the Bulldogs needed. Really good run from Easton Wood from half back. That's what he's renowned for. He's renowned for getting on his bike, getting forward to centre, and being able to create opportunities inside forward 50. I was a little bit nervous when he handballed forward. Anytime you handball forward inside forward 50, it allows the defenders to press up on you and turn the ball over. But they got away with it again. primary strength, his ability to be able to stand up in tackles and get through the tackles, either to kick on goal or to handball to another Bulldog player, has been outstanding today.
And I'm not too sure, was that Griffin in the centre who did exactly the same? I mean, it looked as if they were in trouble. Somebody's ability to absorb the tackle and then to release it out wide was very important.
So in the middle with Warnock. He tried to sort of shovel it out once no one won the initial tap down. And again, that fight for it inside the circles. It's not coming out. The umpire will come in again. So the Bulldogs are the first goal of the second half. 25 points the advantage Carlton's way. Really set up with that first quarter where they led by 4 goals. Minson tries to take it out of the ruck and then sort of had a fly hack at it. Kicked it 25 metres the Bulldogs' way. Everett first there, though, for the Blues. Handball to Simpson, missed Gibbs. Now there's a fight for it. Pickin with a big tackle. And it's locked up, a 2-man tackle. McRae was the other dog to come in and make sure that ball wasn't going anywhere. And it'll be thrown up just forward of the wing for the Dogs on the dock side of the ground.
I've just got a feeling Pickin has gone to Gibbs.
Yep. Yeah, he was in the centre bounce with Gibbs at the last bounce. Ball comes out to Bell of the Blues. He kicks towards the wing. Ugly looking kick. Bounces through a few people. Spills off Ellard. Straight into the lap of Mark Murphy, who kicks towards full forward. Henderson's there. Ridden into the ground.
Good tackle.
Well done by Young. But it's grabbed by Waite. The hand pass out wide. Daisy Thomas across his body for the goal. His first goal for the game. And only his second for Carlton.
Well, Murphy involved again. I think a move needs to be made. Mitch Wallace, he's tried his heart out, but he just hadn't been able to get the job done. Maybe it's time to get a Griffin onto him to go the other way and make Mark Murphy defend, because at the moment, Mitch Wallace is just following him around wherever he goes. He's come off the ground now with him. Sometimes when you get a proactive player on you, when you have been tagged, you can be exposed. So maybe a Griffin to Murphy to try and make him defend the other way. The problem the Bulldogs might have is if they've got too many players tagging through the middle of the ground, they become very reactive, not proactive.
5 minutes gone in the third. Warnock winning it down again. Gibbs got a handball. Missed Tui. Loose footy picked up by Cooney. Scooping a handball out. Now the kick from Pickin. Bouncing towards full forward. Rowe there against Jones. Rowe gets back first. Retrieves the ball. Gets tackled by Jones in the square. The handball was a little iffy, but it comes out okay with White. His handball also a little iffy. Carlton, though, still with the football, and in the end it's Curnow that's getting it out wide now towards the wing, and Henderson marks on his chest. So it's a couple of anxious moments, but they got out of it okay, Carlton, and now
it's 50, I think.
It's 50. Henderson was taking the kick, and a player got too close to the kicker. A Bulldog player got too close to the kicker, so it's 50 metres. That player was Easton Wood, I believe. So Henderson has been marched to 45 out from goal, just right of centre. And if he was to kick this, it would really hurt the Dogs. Henderson kicked 3 in the first quarter. He now has 4 for the match. And that does hurt the Dogs. They kicked the first, they got within 25 points, and the Blues have gone bang, bang. And it's the biggest lead of the match, 37 points at the 7-minute mark in the third.
Yeah, look, and just a little observation about, I know it was great playing, Henderson got it, but just again, the ball was coming to somebody who's had a massive impact in this game, and that's Warnock. Because again, Warnock ran to the centre of the ground to become the target. What's happened is, of course, this means Minson's getting caught out all the time, because Minson doesn't know where to go down. He knows they're short down the back half, but by going down there, he allows Warnock in there in that situation. So all of a sudden what's happening is that Minson's not affecting anything. He's not on Warnock, and he's not getting down to help his beleaguered defender. So it's great play by Warnock.
Warnock wins this hit out. Hand pass comes further afield for the Blues. It's chopped off by Kobe Stevens of the Dogs to Minson, whose kick is smothered. Spills to McRae, who's rolled over in a tackle. Crowd saying ball, but the crowd pretty happy. Most of them, the Carlton fans, happy with the Blues' efforts in there. And Gibbs was last man up. Umpire throws it up near the logo. And Stevens goes up, wins the hit out. Ball comes out to Curnow, showing a bit of pace. Shares the ball with Carazzo. Curnow ducks a high tackle. on all fours, gets the hand pass to Scotland, who delivers a good pass. There's no mark. There's a free kick to Carlton. Leading down the ground is Cripps. He played last week, had 16 touches, or 17 on debut, the West Australian. Not as prominent today. Inside the 50. Cripps gets another one here. Little underground ball. Curnow was blindsided. Nearly caught holding it. It bounces away to Toohey. Tough footy to win in there. But Griffin has it for the Dogs. Gets the hand pass away. And they're off and running. And Dalhouse from centre wing for the Bulldogs. Kicks up towards the 50. There's interference before the ball arrives. It's by Crameri to his man. And the free kick goes to Simon White for the Blues.
He squares it up to Murphy. Handballs to Simpson. Through centre half back with a bounce. Cuts defensive 50. Evades Dalhouse and then spreads it wide to White, who's involved again. Kicks towards the wing. Wants Lucas. Going back with courage was Cooney. Creating the contest, and the ball is gone out, or has gone out of play. But that was courageous from Cooney coming late.
Oh, it really was, wasn't it? And didn't flinch for 1 minute.
Throw in, right in front of us on the Docks wing. One down by Minson to the front. Sharp by Bell. Handball missed the target. Cooney comes through again and shrugs the tackle of Dale Thomas and takes a bounce. Cooney 60 out. Kicking to Crameri at full forward. Yes! Good catch.
Oh, good. That's a great call. Good catch. Because he was running one way and he had to stretch back the other way. That was Cooney, the Brownlow medalist.
Oh, wasn't it? That years
was
back.
Cooney, the Brownlow medalist.
So Crameri, 20 metres out from goal, straight in front. These are just a must to give the Dogs some belief they can come back. Crameri pokes at it, gets it. He's got 3, and the Dogs have got 10. 10-6, 66. Carlton 15-7, 97. It was like a batsman going down the wicket trying to clear it off. And Crameri's just gone up and taken it with the 2 hands above his head.
Well, that's Adam Cooney, as you said, guys, at his absolute best. His acceleration out of the congestion, and it's something that the Bulldogs really need. You know, to get back in this game, they're going to need himself, Cooney, Griffin. They need that speed out of the contest because they just haven't been able to handball their way out. They've been handballing in circles. When they can get a play like Cooney on the end of it, kicking side forward 50, you know the result's going to be in the hands of the forward.
Well, Daisy Thomas had a fair play on him, but finished up clutching at fresh air. Cooney just burst away. Warnock wins another hit in the middle. It comes to Mark Murphy. And it looks as though Wallace has gone back onto him and he bowls him over inside the secondary circle. 2 number 3s on each other again. This one's thrown in the air. This one comes to Wallace. He has a fumble. Gibbs tries to burst through. His hand pass chopped off by Cooney. Comes the other way for the Dogs. His hand pass finds Liver. He kicks to full forward. Griffin works his man under the ball and darts back goalwards. It's only 15 metres from goal. The Blues desperate to keep it out here. Crameri in there fighting hard for it. And the umpire comes in and is going to ball it up on the point of the goal square. Bulldogs back into attack. When they kick the last goal, they've got within 31 points. Plenty of time left. 11 and a half played third quarter.
Thrown up, top of the square. Warnock wins it down. Minson has a shot at it. Got smothered. Carlton with a footy. An errant handball's gone through for a behind from Yaron. Maybe not a bad result, to be honest, because Carlton will have possession, and with Simpson, the behind stands, so it is an even 5 goals the difference.
Blues coming out of defence. Good mark taken by Bell, that right half back for the Blues. Tom Bell kicks to centre wing. Well delivered. Waite marks. Squares it into Walker. They want to get away from that boundary line. Walker's kick to half forward. Excellent mark to Casbolt. Haven't seen him do that too much today. Just his 3rd mark. Back to Andrew Walker. Off the left to full forward. Henderson comes from behind. Gets it to ground, but the Dogs have it. The hand pass to Cooney in defensive goal square. Good kick. Dalhouse mark. Still inside defensive 50.
Gee, they're lining up this side, the Dogs, and really running well. Murphy went short to Boyd. Murphy's still running. Pick and running as well, but Boyd's taken 2 bounces. Wants to do it himself. Kicks to half forward. Wallace on the bounce. Gets pushed right in the back by Rowe. No free
That's
kick.
ridiculous, umpire.
2 hands squaring the number 3.
How can you not see that?
The ball's gone out of play for a throw-in.
Back.
It's extraordinary. No free kick. Throw in, 50 out from the Dogs' goal. So that really promising chain falls down, but they've still got a chance, the Dogs. Minson wins it down, pick it into the back of Carlton, play no free kick. Out of the congestion, Carlton's way, but only as far as Stringer. Good inboard handball to Dalhouse. Now he looks up. He kicks long. Now Carlton have got a lot of numbers back. Jones the only chance. Spoil was good behind from Rowe. Falling to Murphy. Handballs to Walker. Now to Simpson. Now the Blues are out as they attack down the City side.
Simpson goes for a few bounces. He drew a man, balked a hand pass and kicked to the middle of the ground. It's taken by Scotland, the veteran, near the circles. A kick to half forward. Oh, Henderson takes the mark. Oh, that wasn't Henderson, it was Cripps. It was a mark, but it wasn't paid. Spills to Minson. Dogs on the rebound. Through McRae in the middle. Hand pass up to Bontempelli. He's the first gamer. Kicks one on the bounce. Taken by Griffin. Kicks to an unguarded goal square. How will it bounce? Won't matter. It's way across the face and out of bounds in the right forward pocket.
Cheers, some frenetic play, isn't it? The ball is just zinging around at the moment.
Blues by 5 goals. 15-7 to 10-7.
Deep in the right forward pocket for the Dogs. A lot of players looking tired here. The game's really starting to open up, if it wasn't already in the first half. Minson wins it down into the corridor. Still a chance for the Dogs. No emerging with it. Lucas got some sort of handball to Murphy. Gets tackled as he kicks it, but gets the kick to the middle. And Allard, fortunately, taking the mark for the Blues. Handballs to Yarran. Yarran up towards Henderson. Wasn't a great kick from Yarran. Henderson made to work for it at ground level. Tackled by Young. Got a hand pass to Gibbs. 60 out Gibbs. Centering ball. Not sure on that. No, Williams marks. Plays on for the Dogs now. It will go the other end.
Oh, this is like pinball. It's up and back. McRae has 2 or 3 bounces. Gets to the logo at centre wing. Kicks long off the left. Dalhouse from the back. Brings it down. Contest at left half forward for the Dogs. Higgins goes to ground. Blues have it now. Simpson under pressure. Ball knocked away from him. It's taken over the boundary
Great game,
line.
both sides.
Fantastic
effort.
Martin Blake on the boundary.
Mitch Wallace has come out of the game, boys. Took the red vest and Gia's into the game.
Well, wonder when we're going to see Chris Judd, one of the most high-profile substitutes the game's ever seen. He's wearing the vest for his first game this year, but we haven't seen him yet. He's on the boundary line, and there's a free kick from this boundary throw-in, and it's going Carlton's way.
Because the ruckman touched the other ruckman in the back, and the over-era blokes got shoved. It might have been the reason why Wallace is off. He's nearly shoved 30 metres in the back and doesn't get anything. The 2 biggest blokes on the ground touched him in the back.
Casbolt with it for the Blues. Kicks down to Scotland.
They've done it well all day. They've just let up and hit up at the ball and honoured the lead.
And Scotland plays on and takes 2 bounces, runs to the middle. It's got to be quick. Gee, they came at him late, but Scotland good enough to get the kick away. And it's a good one too to Curnow at the 50. And he pokes it into Henderson, who juggles and marks.
Simple, isn't it? Get it to forwards quickly.
Well, it's been a real feature of their game. Obviously, we've mentioned about the quick ball movement all day, and it's been frenetic for the last 6-7 minutes. But the ability to be able to hit up all day on this ground, or on this ground, especially when you need to break through the centre part of this ground and get inside forward 50, has been terrific.
Now, it might sound silly considering Carlton leads by 5 goals, but I think this is a really important kick here for the Blues. Henderson, 30 out, 45-degree angle. It's left. It's hitting the post. Started to swing back late, but only a behind. So it is Carlton by 31. You're talking about Chris Judd being the sub. It's like Michael Clark being 12th man in a test match. This is not something you'd see.
Oh, no! He's running the boundary line too, Juddy, so he mightn't be that far away. Dogs have got the ball up near the City wing. Tackle laid. Umpire says, give it to me, I'm going to throw it up.
I reckon if he's there too much longer, he'll be waving up at the coach's box saying, remember me?
Magnificent play. A couple of Brownlows. This one's won by Minson. Not going anywhere, though. It's in tight and held in. Juddy doing the side steps and the running round the boundary line. Saying, Mick, look at me, mate. Up it goes on the City side. Bunted forward for the Blues. Taken by Mark Murphy. Here's kicked out wide down towards the pocket. A spoil away by Higgins. Sees the ball over the boundary line and a throw in.
Martin Blake.
You're absolutely right, boys. Juddy very keen to come on. Ring a rosy on Henderson there. Tom Williams has gone back to him after having 3 goals kicked on him in the first quarter.
Thrown in with Warnock and Minson inside the 50 for the Blues. Comes towards Thomas. Dalhouse coming in the other direction. Actually won that. Handball though straight back into congestion. Tui fumbled it. Bontempelli has it now. Gets tackled by Lucas. Got a boot to it. Still in the scrimmage though. 50 out from Carlton's goal. Tui coming out with a footy. Picking with the tackle. The umpire letting it go a long time before calling for it. At the top of the 50 for Carlton. We played 18 and a half minutes in the third term with the Blues up by 31. So it's thrown up. Warnock again reaching over the top of Minson. Boyd sort of throws it out to Minson. Cooney has it now. He's tackled. It's like watching rugby union at the moment. We haven't seen a lot of this tonight. We've seen a lot of it over the first 5 weeks of the season.
This is like
thrown up again.
This is like two fighters just slugging it out at the moment. The bullies are throwing everything at Carlton. Carlton are absorbing everything that's being thrown at them.
Minson wins the head out. Hand pass over his head in the middle there by Bontempelli. But it's taken by Tui of Carlton. His kick to centre half forward, marked by Wood in defence for the Doggies. Kick by Wood. He put it out in front of McRae, who took a mark about knee high and did it well. Short pass across the ground to Stevens. Kick by Kobe Stevens. Out wide, magnificently delivered to Gia. And here is that man. He comes on every week as a sub, and he
look at him sneaking around.
He's only kicked 3 goals in his 4 games for the season, but he's made impacts when he's come off the bench and has discarded the vest. He's kicking here from wide out and about 40 metres. They trail by 31. And it's less than 40. Shot for goal is good. He's done it again. He comes on his first kick as a goal. And the Blues, 15-8-98, lead the Bulldogs 11-7-73. The margin back to 25.
Really smart play from McRae through the middle of the ground. He's just backwards of centre, so he didn't want to release the ball too early, because if you don't get it deep enough, the rebound can be really pricey on the rebound going back the other way. He chipped it sideways to Kobe Stevens, who was able to take some extra grass. Gee, he's the smartest player getting out the back. He knows his running patterns.
Whitey, that call on you, that Henderson, he nails that. It's almost like the marathon runner, and it's just breaking the thing, and it's kept him in the game. And now all of a sudden you kick one the other end. It's a massive thing in this game.
Yep, I agree. 25. The next stoppage, I want to ask you a question to both of you. As it's Carlton with a clearance to Gibbs to centre half forward, off the pack though, through the legs of Higgins. Stringer was in there as well for the Dogs. Comes out, back to Gibbs. He gives a handball. Good tackle from Talia at the top of the 50. Players are diving in on the footy. Talia again got a handball to Boyd. Now to Young, last line of defence for the Dogs, but they've still got possession. This kick is important. Out towards Dalhouse. Didn't quite get that far. Has some support though from Stringer. Just like the way the Dogs are starting to run. Stringer gets the handball to Bontempelli. Under a little bit of pressure. Kicking towards half forward. It pitches in front of Cramery and goes over. And Blakey, there's a sub, and it's a Carlton sub.
Cripps has the red vest.
Oh, well, he'll wait for a chance to get on the ground, because the play's way over the other side, and there's not a player within 100 metres of Chris Judd. Oh, bursting out of the pack here is Higgins. He goes back with his hand pass. Boyd, beautiful pass. Kobe Stevens marks. 35 from goal right in front. Well, they've kicked the last 2, the Bulldogs. Stevens should be kicking this, and if he does, the margin is 19. A lot of eyes on Chris Judd as he's about to come onto the ground. Had to wait till the 22-minute mark of the third quarter. On goes Judd. Stevens goes for goal and kicks it. So Judd's got to play his part in arresting this momentum. The Dogs have kicked 3 in a row. And it's 15-8 to 12-7.
Yeah, game on. Yeah, absolutely.
The question I want to ask you, Scott, sorry, Scotty, and to Stan, what's the maximum lead Carlton has at three-quarter time for the Dogs to think they're in it?
Well, Well, I reckon they're in it now. Yeah, absolutely.
But is 5 goals too much? Does it have to stay at 4? What's the...
Yeah, I think it has to stay under probably 3 to 4 goals between that margin. But Carlton spent a lot of energy early in this game, so it's going to be a matter of maybe who's the fittest team and who's got the best fitness coach.
Better the Dogs.
Absolutely.
Judd straight into the middle 4.
Okay, so Boyd and Judd, the 2 5s, stand alongside each other at this bounce, and it's a Bulldogs ball again to Griffin, kicking up towards Jones, stretches straight through his hands, couldn't mark, fights on, tried to knock it the Dogs' way, didn't have any success there. White
look at that.
White's getting a free kick.
And he's touched. Is that the umpire missed the push in the back? I'm on his case.
I'd like to hope it's a different umpire because that shouldn't have been a free kick if the other one wasn't. Anyway, he's gone backwards to Everett. A high ball back towards the wing. Off hands Murphy with a footy for Carlton. And he's away and running. Cutting in board with 2 bounces. Inside the centre square with a third Murphy. Now to the middle. Kick off the side of the boot. Oh, Henderson's taken it. Henderson has marked it. It was a raffle between Henderson and Scotland. And Henderson has got it 50 out from goal straight in front. But that kick from Murphy was off the side of his boot. I'm not sure whether it was meant to go there, but he at least was brave to break the lines and give them a chance.
I'm pretty sure he tried to kick a talk on the run talk.
Yeah, but it certainly was. It was an attempted talk that ended up a mongrel punt, but gee, it's effective.
So the Dogs have kicked the last 3 goals. Henderson had an important kick before and couldn't kick it. What about this time? No. It's a behind. Missing to the left. The margin 20 points. Carlton 15-9-99. The Bulldogs 12-7-79. So 2 crucial misses in the last 5 minutes to Lockie Henderson.
He's kicked 4 goals, 3. He started with 3 straight in the first quarter and looks set for an on-fire day. Well, Blues were on fire then.
I'd like to see the tag dropped off Murphy. I know it sounds ridiculous because he's going so. The Bulldogs need to be close enough at 3/4 time to win it. We've got Cooney sitting in the forward pocket. I'd just send Cooney to him to try and get him going back the other way.
Margin 20 points in favour of the Blues. Led by 24 at quarter time and 30 at half time. It's taken by Griffin. He can't break the tackle. Just gets the hand pass away. Grabbed by Minson. He can't break the tackle but gets his foot pass away. Up to Stringer. There was a push out and Stringer gets the free kick on centre wing. It's
just from the Bullies fans.
Well, the Freeze is 17-9 in favour of the Blues. So the Bullies have had a raw deal when you look at those stats. Kick by Stringer inside the 50 and punch to the boundary line. Good defence by White. Let's get down to the boundary and Martin Blake.
Tom Bell dislocated a finger on his right hand. Drew had to go up the race. They put it back into place and then strapped it up. But not ideal when they just subbed out Cripps.
Thrown in. There's a ruck contest free kick here. It's going Carlton's way. In fact, it's off the ruck contest and it's to go to Simpson. I think... Two field umpires working together and they eventually work it out. Simpson's kick to the middle was good to Tui. Now to Yarran. A foot race between Yarran and Eastonwood. Yarran decides to kick. Oh, it's a good option too. It sits on the bounce to Scotland. Got some space. Settles. 30 out. Yes! Henderson was no. Scotland was yes. And the Blues back out by 26 points. Well done, Chris Yarran. And well done the Blues to get that goal to snap the 3 goals in a row from the Dogs. And as I said, 26 points the difference, 26 gone third term.
Well, we said they had to be brave. Kate Simpson there was absolutely brave. He had Tui in the middle of the ground, and it was terrific by Yarran. Unbelievable work rate from Scotland to be able to get that space. But Kate Simpson set that up by being brave and kicking the ball through the middle of the ground. At this particular stage of the game, you would have given him an out by kicking it down the line because of where the game's at, and they probably need to contain the Bulldogs at this stage, but they just want to keep scoring, and it was a brilliant kick from him. He set that up then.
And Higgins, I might say, caught napping. Higgins watching the ball, lost his man. Great experience by Scotland.
Warnock gets the ball down to Judd, but he's ripped off it without getting a possession. Socket off the ground by Griffin. Up to Jones, good pick up, but he's straight away cornered in a great tackle. The ball's there near the front edge of the square for the Bulldogs. And the umpire comes in to throw it in the air.
Drew, you think of important moments when Jones came out from half forward and dropped that mark, having kicked 3 in a row, the Dogs.
Menson wins this hit out. There's Judd getting his first touch. It's a hand pass going backwards. He'll get it back from Daisy Thomas. Judd wheels around, gets away. He got Dalhouse chewing dust behind him. The kick up to the middle of the ground. The mark is taken by Casbolt. Back to Judd.
Oh, he's hurt.
And he's no good. He's
hurt.
done a hamstring or something of that ilk. Juddy's only been on for a minute or two. The ball's inside the centre square. There's a push.
Gee, I hope it's not the Achilles.
And it's a Dogs free kick. He's going to come off. I thought he grabbed high up rather than an Achilles. Oh, this is criminal what's going on here. Judd coming off. The Bulldogs going forward. Kick by Wood. Mark dropped by Stringer close to goal. It's on the deck. The hand pass comes out. And it's going to be a ball up in front of goal. Martin Blake.
Chris Judd indicated his right hamstring, Drew. He's gone for the day.
Oh, that would make you cry, wouldn't
Well,
it?
yeah, and they're one short for the final quarter now. Minson winning the tap down for the Dogs. Lots of players around the contest, and it will be thrown up again. Martin Blake.
Whitey, Tom Bell hasn't come back from up the race with his finger as well. I'm sure that he will come back, but right at the moment they are totally down.
Too short.
So, very interesting finish to this third quarter indeed. Warnock wins it down again. It's just still 20 metres out from the Dogs' goal. They're fighting for it. Minson picks it up. They tackle him, and it'll be thrown up for the third time. Now, there's only 5 sets of players outside 50, so 28 players inside the Dogs' 50, and Griffin can still have a shot and miss. Oh, Griffin, left foot snap. It was under pressure, but he was only 15 out. He's missed to the right. It's 25 points Carlton's way.
The kick in finds Yaron in a bit of space. Undergrounds the ball, bumbles it up short of the wing. As a result, a fumble by Henderson. Tries to paddle the ball back. White might have been caught in possession. It comes forward. Yaron on the run. He's a sprinter. He runs away from them. Gets to 52. Keeps the kick low. Oh, that is a very disappointing effort. And it skews away from goal and only just hits the boundary line.
Second best result. The goal would have been a
exactly.
better one, but deep in their forward line at this particular stage of the quarter.
Lucky it didn't go through from behind. And the Bullies got the footy.
Well, the Blues lead by 25, and if they win the game, it'll be balanced by the loss of Chris Judd. How long will that cost him?
Thrown in. Third man up, wins it down for the Dogs in Talia. Balls though to Carazzo of Carlton. Centering ball back towards full forward. No mark taken at the drop. It's a one-on-one contest in there. Maybe the team can emerge with the football initially, but gee, in the end it was a terrific handball from Bontempelli. Very classy. Now Gia kicking up towards Cranmery. Had it spent before he got it. Now Carlton has it with White. Cocks it up. Handball straight to Dalhouse. Now the kick to full forward. Cooney! Almost took a fantastic mark in the square. Dropped it, but he almost took it. It would have been a ripper. Blues clear. Out towards half-back. Murphy in a one-on-one with Picken. Picken wings out, then loses his head. Free kick. Free kick to the Bulldogs to be taken by Picken. Gee, that mark from Cooney would have been something special.
Wasn't it a ripping jump? Kick by Picken. Deep to the forward line. Hands to it, a juggle. No mark, siren.
Oh, Cranmery nearly had it, didn't he? Was it Cranmery?
Yep.
25 points the margin at the last change. Carlton 16-9, 105. The Bulldogs 12-8, 80. I think Martin Blake might be the busiest during the three-quarter time break to work out how many players short the Blues are, because at this very moment they look as though they might be 2 down. So the margin is 25 in favour of Carlton, who led by 24 at quarter time, 30 at half time, and it's pretty much kept the same all the way through the game. The Bulldogs haven't led since they kicked the first behind of the game about 3 minutes in. Incredible. I'll give you the goal kickers. Henderson's kicked 4. I'll give you the multiples. Waite has kicked 3. And Mark Murphy has kicked 2. And for the Bulldogs, Cranmery's 3 and Dalhouse 2, as well as Kobe Stevens 2. So at three-quarter time, Carlton 16-9, 105. Lead the Bulldogs 12-8, 80. This is Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio and Grandstand Digital.
Tap
into the conversation about food and fibre production in Australia and overseas.
ABC Rural is the online hub for rural news, features, analysis and opinion produced by the ABC.
With specialist coverage from regional reporters,
Landline,
ABC News and Television,
RN and Radio Australia,
we dig deep and put it all in one place.
abc.net.au/rural.
On your mobile, desktop or just search ABC Rural.
Sunday footy.
Grandstand AFL.
Easton Wood up from defence, gathers the bouncing ball, delivers the hand pass to Griffin, back to Wood, busts the tackle, gets the hand pass away, Cranberry from 15, goals! Great stuff, doggies. Kicks towards full forward, Henderson's there, ridden into the ground.
Good tackle.
Well done by Young. But it's grabbed by Waite. The hand pass out wide. Daisy Thomas across his body for the goal.
Sharp by Bell. Handball missed the target. Cooney comes through again and shrugs the tackle of Dale Thomas and takes a bounce. Cooney 60 out, kicking to Cranberry at full forward. Yes, good catch. Cranberry pokes at it, gets it. He's got 3, and the Dogs have got 10.
Short pass across the ground to Stevens. Kicked by Kobe Stevens. Out wide, magnificently delivered to Gia. And here is that man. He comes on every week as a sub, and he look at him sneaking around. Shot for goal is good. He's done it again. He comes on his first kick as a goal.
A foot race between Yarran and Eastonwood. Yarran decides to kick. Oh, it's a good option too. It sits on the bounce to Scotland. Got some space. Settles. 30 out. Yes. Henderson was no. Scotland was yes.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Well, before we go to Scott West and Stan Alves, I might go to Martin Blake on the boundary because Judd is out there and don't tell me he's going to play on.
Drew, it's interesting. He went up the race pointing to his hamstring, spoke to the training staff, and he has come back out, but his body language to me is not that of someone who's going to come back on. I think he's just gone out there to support his teammates. The good news for Carlton is that Tom Bell has come back out there and he'll complete his role in the game after having that finger injury. So unless Judd can get himself up or sit in the goal square or something, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be one man short for the last quarter.
Well, he is not strapped. He hasn't got a tracky top on or anything like that.
And no ice.
And he's talking to Robbie Wiley as we speak, and wouldn't be 100 to 1. He's going to keep playing.
I guess Westy might know a little bit more about this than Stan, but it's possible, I suppose, that it might have been some sort of spasm rather than a tear. That would be the only thing that I would think.
Well, the action of kicking, and he was pushed, so the virtue of the hyperextension of the back that's a classic hamstring off the bone, and I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that's happened, but that's a classic hamstring injury, what happened to him. So look, I'd be surprised if he plays on. I had him in the binoculars at the three-quarter time break. He was very disinterested in whatever the coach was saying, but look, let's fingers crossed it's not too bad.
It's the classic of a bloke who hasn't had the pre-season. You know, I saw a vision of him on a scooter. He hasn't done the running. He hasn't done what every league football has to do.
Big risk. Big risk. This is a game that Carlton really wanted to win, but at what cost? He's had the Achilles injury. Very difficult to train with an Achilles injury. You can't swim because of the flex of the leg. You can't box because you're on your toes, and the extension and the pressure that goes through your Achilles. Obviously, you can't run, so very difficult to keep your fitness up. And what that does is it puts pressure on your other muscles like your hamstrings and your quads because you just haven't conditioned them.
Dare I say that this might upset a lot of the defensive-minded coaches, but we're actually watching a sensational game of football. This is just so somebody who doesn't back for either side, just coming along. This, to me, is the sort of game I'd love to bring somebody along and say, this is what our game's all about. The ball is just going from one end to the other. There's some terrific one-on-one battles which have been forced. The breakneck speed, kicking to players who are launching themselves to take marks. It's just absolutely sensational. And both sides, Carlton made the running, deserved to be in front in this game. But the Bulldogs are throwing everything at them. And Carlton's ability to actually soak it up and not go back into their shell and to stay in the game. I've got to tell you, I'm thoroughly enjoying this game.
What is wrong with conceding 16 goals if you win.
I guarantee you Mick won't like it. And neither will Brendan McCartney at the end of the game.
No, that's that's the rider, because I guess they want to win, and they're probably saying, no, this is too much rolling the dice. But we're just actually getting to see players play on their merits and playing the game that they want to play.
Play football.
Play football.
I sound like my dad saying that, but that's...
It is just a terrific spectacle at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. Total possessions, Blues way, 267 to 251. The contested possessions, nothing in it. Blues plus 3. The marks, 58 to 39. The inside 50s are dead level, 41 each. The tackles, Carltons, 60 to 54. Hard to pick a winner. Only the fact that Carlton lead by 25 points, they'd have to be hot favourites.
Well, it was 24 points at quarter time, and since then it's been a fairly level contest. Yeah. That's why it is sort of, in general play at the moment, Drew, hard to pick.
Bounce to start the last quarter. What a game it has been. Under the roof at Docklands. Boyd bursts away for the Doggies, but the whistle had gone. Oh, it's going to be a free kick to Warnock in the ruck. A vital blow of the whistle by the umpy. Hand pass away to Tui on the run. He gives the hand pass to Murphy. Big shepherd off the ball. The kick by Murphy goes deep inside the forward 50. Turned over for the Dogs. Picken gets the hand pass away. Williams up to Wood. Wood dodges a flying boot off somebody. It was Bell. Boot went about 25 metres.
No, son.
Wood's left-handed hand pass up the wing. Not good. Doesn't hit a teammate. Goes out of bounds right in front of Martin Blake, who's got the latest news on Judd.
Straight up the race, Chris Judd not playing out this game.
Yeah, he was not moving well at all.
Definitely limping.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't want to show ice or anything on his leg.
Thrown in, Minson wins it down. Boyd is tackled without possession. So, no, it's going to Murphy, who wasn't involved in that initial contest.
Said he was being held.
Okay, Murphy kicks to the AFL logo inboard to Carazzo. Sorry to Dogs fans, I was watching the play. Who had the football? Which was Boyd. Carazzo's kick, not great to Lucas. The spoil came from behind from Bontempelli. There's big raps on Bontempelli, Westy, and from what we've seen, I can understand why the raps are there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a 6'3" midfielder of the Freo style and left footer, so he's got a lot going for him.
Reminds me a lot of Pendlebury, just in the way he moves. Don't really put too much pressure on him. The Dogs have it. They coughed up with that handball from Picken. Yaron's handball, though, was knocked down. Falls to Jones for the Dogs. Kick inside the 50. Stringer was held in the marking contest. No free kick. Tui at the drop. Gets a handball underway under pressure. And holding the ball. It was a hot one. Yeah. He handballed it as he was tackled.
I reckon he handballed too.
Nick Malthouse has almost had a heart attack in the box, says Jink. Syracuse plays on him, kicks it straight in the man on the mark, which was Tui, and the Tui's kick back towards the wing, a one-on-one, Wood and Bell. Bell wins out, got a handball to wait, now to Murphy. Murphy stripped to the ball and it goes out of play. But gee, he could have had the shot from 50, went for the short pass and kicked it straight to the man on the mark.
Well, it hasn't been a high-class start to the quarter. I think the intensity of the first three quarters have fatigued a lot of players, so it's going to be a bit of a war of attrition here.
Earlier on today, Gold Coast beat Melbourne by 8 and the Adelaide Crows beat GWS by 65. High ball goes to half forward and a mark clutch by Wood. I thought he had it. He had the first touch up near his shoulder and the last one down near his knees, and the umpire didn't pay it.
I reckon the umpire couldn't see it. I reckon he was sort of blocked for review because he did everything to claim the mark.
Umpire throws it up. Minson gets a hand to it. Probably giving the stat for the hit out. Comes to nothing. Well, the umpire lets things go. Curnow, kick smothered. Bell, hand pass smothered. Wood gets the hand pass through to Griffin, who dashes through that pack. Oh, he beats one, beats two, beats three. Sensational by Griffin. The Gian Syracusa out wide. Stringer's hand pass wide. Comes to Picken. He kicks to half forward. On the lead, and the mark has been taken by... There's a Stringer here. Long kick to full forward. They wrestle. Cooney is there. With him is Walker. Cooney goes to ground. Tries to keep the ball alive, but can't. Over the boundary line alongside the behind post. 25-point lead to the Blues. scoreboard hasn't moved in the opening nearly 4 minutes of this last quarter.
Gee, Kearney very unlucky not to get a free kick. Walker grabbed him by the arm. Thrown in. Minson wins it down to the front. Liberatore's there, takes it. Handball to Boyd, who immediately gets tackled. Carrazzo now for Carlton. Handballs to Waite. Gets a hurry kick down the boundary line, and a good kick because he's found touch on the bounce between wing and half-back right for Carlton. But Kearney could only go at it one arm then because the other one was pinned. Anyway, there was no free kick, so we won't dwell on it. Thrown in. Minson this time gets to the front, knocks it down to Jen Siracusa. His kick was smothered by that man again, Tui, but it has gone at least to the 50. Jones fires out a handball. Jen Siracusa kept running. This time he goes long, but it's out to the right. Behind, just on the 50. So the Dogs get within 24. 105 Carlton, 81 the Dogs. We've played 4 minutes.
Brought in by Walker. He kicks long. Through Wade it goes, but he was pushed out. That's been going on all day. Free kick against Young, taken quickly. Comes to Scotland on centre wing. Blues moving it fast like they have all day. But the kick comes in short. Chopped off by Bob Murphy of the Dogs. Gets the hand pass to Boyd. Up to Higgins, back to Murphy. Boyd. Griffin. Out wide to Liberatore. Cranberry a mile in the clear. Had time to drop a mark and regather. Cruises to 50. Goes long off the left.
He's nailed it.
Stewart Cranberry kicks a beautiful goal. That's his fourth. Gives the Dogs hope. They trail by just 18.
Yeah, really poor kick by Heath Scotland on the win. Kicked it to a player that had no split on his opponent. Murphy was able to intercept. I thought the Bulldogs got themselves into a little bit of trouble here on centre wing. It was just a little bit of ringer-rosy with the handball, but they managed to get it out. Oh, look, and that's where they've been better in this second half with the support around the ball carrier, so they've been able to be tackled and release.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
White Cranberry was free was because Everett took off when the ball was in transition, when they took the advantage here, got caught out on the turnover. The turnover in the middle of the ground can be very costly, and we just saw it then.
Yeah, I like the fact that Murphy was brave and took them on, and that created something.
Dogs with 4 of the last 5 goals. In the middle we go again. Falls to Curnow. Gets a rush kick towards centre half forward. Casbolt in front. Henderson came late to the contest. It gets knocked around. Falls back to Warnock. His right foot kick all the way to full forward. Scotland! Marks. He's played on, then fell over at the top of the goal square. You wouldn't believe it. It's now been locked up and it will be bounced or thrown up. He took the mark in a one-on-one in an old-style full forward and then stumbled as he went to play on into the square. Thrown up. Minson wins it down. Falls in the Dalhouse direction, dived on the footy. Griffin did well again. Got out of the congestion and kicked it to the boundary where it'll be thrown in. 45 metres out from Carlton's goal.
Gee, Griffin's just playing a great captain's game. We've seen 2 terrific captain's games. Murphy's been superb, and Griffin just against the flow is willing himself.
Once Scotland stumbled and they grabbed him, he pretty much gave up. I reckon he should have been knocked off for holding him. Here's a free kick and it's going to the Bulldogs. Well, they're screaming blue murder. The frees at 21-13 against them. And this is Boyd, inside defensive 50. Carlton lead by 18 points. He goes out short. McRae has it. And this teenager has a magnificent left foot kick. Not sure it's his very best. Up the centre wing. Jones! He wrestled off his man and took a terrific mark. Rowe was caught behind. Jones has given us glimpses today of what he's capable of. He kicks long to a pack at half forward. Punch doesn't clear the area for the Blues. Claiming the mark here is White. He reckoned he punched it and it came back to him and he held it above his head for a long time saying, it's mine, it's mine. The umpire said, no, it's not. Finished up going out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in.
And he was right. He did punch it. He was the only one who laid a mid on it.
Even the Dogs players didn't try and tackle him. Thrown in, 50 out from the Dogs' goal. Minson wins it down, coming through Dalhouse again. Kicks to full forward. String of the chance for the Dogs against Walker. It goes over both of those players and out of bounds for a throw-in. So 18 points the difference. And remember, Carlton 1 down. They've only got 2 rotations in this term after Chris Judd came on and did his hamstring after 5 minutes of play. As the sub, Minson wins it. Stevens tackled by 2 Carlton players. Coming up for the footy was Bell. His handball straight back into congestion. He applies a tackle then, Bell, after losing it. And it'll be thrown up 40 metres out from the Dogs' goal. 9 minutes played last term.
My worry for Carlton here at the moment, you just get the feel that they haven't got the run in the legs. If the game keeps at this frenetic pace, that the Bulldogs could actually overrun them.
Hit out, won by Minson. He knocks it towards goal. Chance here for the Dogs. Jan Syracuse pulled off and he hasn't got it. Whistle doesn't go. Players crash into the behind post and the ball has gone over the behind line for a minor score for the Dogs.
I wonder what Brandon Ellis is thinking just at the moment. After that one, very similar.
Well, I think he played for it. I think Tui didn't have. I think Gia had more hold of him than Tui did.
Long kick out towards half-back. Jones got a hand there for the Dogs, but it falls to Henderson of Carlton, kicking down the line towards Allard. It wasn't a great kick from Henderson, and Allard could not get there in time. It's gone out of play. Martin Blake.
Just worth noting, Whitey, the Bulldogs kicked 7 goals to 1 last week against the Giants, so they are fit.
Depends, playing in the sandpit last week, how much of an effect that had on their ability to run out this game. Minson wins the tap down. Boyd has it, well tackled by Murphy. Boyd got a kick while he was lying on his back. It went backwards. McRae was the only chance for the Dogs. Carlton have the numbers. Lucas was taken high. Stevens came in rather crudely. That will be a report. Yeah, he's been reported.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
He's unlucky. I reckon that he's brought it on as much. Gee, if you're running in for the footy, Nella Blake's going to the ball.
Free kick, yes.
Free kick for sure, but jeez. He's come in and he's put his hands up to try and avoid it.
And Lucas has got up pretty quickly. He kicks to a packed forward line. No mark. It comes down to Minson. Hand pass out the back. Talia in the back pocket on the boundary line. Hand pass to Higgins, who's taken over the line. Was he holding it? There's the throw in.
That was touch and go.
The margin's 17, so that last behind for the Dogs could be vital because actually 3 straight kicks and they can get up and pinch it yet.
Throw in. 25 out from Carlton's goal in their right forward pocket. He falls to the front from the contest. Dale Thomas goes in. Cooney in hard with the tackle. And it'll be thrown up. Martin Blake.
Ed Kerno's limped up the race after hitting the behind post before. Possible cork tie. Looked very sore.
Thrown up. Run down by Minson. Tried to get it towards the boundary. Picking there for the Dogs. Coming out with the footy was Murphy. Handballs back towards the corridor. Gibbs is there. He got a handball again towards the corridor. Going in hard was Bontempelli one direction. Casbolt the other. Ball still ricocheting around. Lots of players. It's now 40 out from Carlton's goal. It won't come out. It'll be thrown up.
I'm interested in Chris Yarran's position here. He's got a 2-on-1 with Walker and Griffin. One of them needs to get back and help the quick kick out, which we see Walker doing now. Better positioning.
We've had just 1 goal in this last quarter. The Blues are scoreless in the opening 12 minutes of the term. So the Bulldogs coming back at them. Can Carlton hang on? They're looking for their first win of the season after losing their first 4 games. And the Bulldogs trying to win 3 in a row. It's punched goalwards for Carlton. It's gathered by Daisy Thomas, who swings it towards goal. He's offline to the right-hand side, through for a minor score. His tally today, 1 goal, 1. The margin back to 18, Carlton lead.
So Sean Higgins with the job to kick it back in for the Dogs. He's coming the Dogs side with a long kick. He wants Murphy or Stevens. Stevens flies. Can't mark. Murphy though at the drop for the Dogs. So they've worked it out okay here. A bounce from Murphy. Then a kick towards the wing. Jones in front. He is edged out of it by Rowe. No free kick. And then Griffin
That's holding
free
up.
kick.
Yeah, Griffin's kick for sure.
He looked up wanting to know where the umpire was and looked at him and said, is that a free kick? And the umpire said yes. So Griffin kicking into the pocket, stringer up, can't mark at the drop. Cooney runs around in a circle. He sees a vacant square. He goes at it. It's close. It's just missing to the left. It was from in the pocket, but Cooney does often kick those. 17 points, Carlton's lead.
Waite kicks in. Simpson marks just inside defensive 50 for the Blues. He kicks to Gibbs at centre half back. Bryce Gibbs is at a ripper. 27 disposals coming up. It's a kick. Back. Walker in a bit of space. He kicks across the line and misses the target, which was Casbolt, and the ball pitches and bounces out of bounds behind the wing. Marty Blake.
Ed Kerno very bravely came back on the ground, but he's very, very sore.
Boundary throw in. Warnock in front, wins it. At ground level, a couple of dogs fight for it. Actually, Minson goes in and wins it. Hurried kick to half forward, where it's taken here by Lucas for Carlton. He loses control of it. Grabbed by Dalehouse. He's pulled off his kick. Finishes up again with Lucas, who clears for the Blues towards centre wing. 2-1 Dogs. And the mark has been taken by Young.
Young centres it up into midfield to Stevens. Stevens goes short and McRae stretches, can't mark, but he's able to recover. Tried to take on the Lucas tackle, got the handball out. The kick from Liberatore up to full forward in front. Crameri couldn't mark on this occasion. Crumbs to the front. Scotland did well for the Blues. Handballs to Walker. Walker from the defensive goal square. Must be precise to Dale Thomas, and it is. And Daisy Marks low down on his chest at right half back.
Blues have scored just the one behind in this last quarter. Shot by Dale Thomas a while ago. His kick over the wing to Waite. Nudged out of it by Wood. Waite comes at him and dispossesses him in a good tackle. Comes to Zhong of the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Young. Outside of the boot. Finds Robert Murphy on the logo. Here they come. He's got a bit of room. He delivers a low and hard pass. Crameri marks. Hand pass to Higgins. Kick smothered by Scotland. Hit him in the back. Comes back to the Dogs. There's a tackle laid low in there. There's no whistle on the play. Now this is just absolute ripping football. Hard, tough, and both teams desperate for the victory here. It's going to be thrown up at half forward for the Dogs, who trail by 17. Marty Blake.
Ed Curno's gone, boys. They're treating his right knee. Can't run at all. So they're down to one interchange.
Okay, so it's a battle of attrition now. From the throw-up, Stevens has it. Handballs to John. He's immediately tackled. Loses it. Carlton with a footy with Gibbs, who takes a bounce. Now, he should go long here. Waiting a one-on-one. Gibbs sees it now. He actually goes to wait a little bit late. He had to lead at him. He's taken it, but he's too far out to score. Now the kick to Henderson, and he's marked on his chest. Henderson centres up. This is really good from the Blues. The experienced players working together. Henderson in centrally to Scotland. And Scotland has it 45 out from goal, just right of centre. So Gibbs to Waite to Scotland.
Old heads, experience, just under pressure, some mistakes being made everywhere, and just the cool heads and things like that. And players like Scotland, just I know he played on for that one down the goal square, but he's done some very good things in this last term.
So as I look to the Carlton bench, they have one rotation left. Now I look at Scotland. He has a chance to put the Blues 23 points up. Such an important kick from the veteran. He's hit it well. He stands and he delivers. Carlton by 23. 17 played in the last term. 17-10, 112. The Dogs 13-11-89. How important was that?
Well, that was the one he owed him.
I thought it was a really good decision from Henderson. He was on that, ugly angle there, 45 degrees, where it wasn't a certainty. Get it inside, real dangerous area inside 50, where Scotland led into. Really good composure. And I thought it was really good composure from Gibbs on the wing. He could have blazed away inside forward 50 to a 50-50 contest with Henderson to start with, but he waited for Waite to hit up at him, which he's done all day and done it really well. And then it was a really good kick from Waite to Henderson inside 50.
At the moment, the rotations, Bulldogs 108, the Blues 104. The Blues rotations just about will come to a standstill. Carlton come forward from the centre bounce. Taken by Zhong, hand pass to McRae, untidy hand pass back to Higgins. His hand pass puts Liberatore under pressure. Zhong, back he goes. Through Williams it goes. Bob Murphy, a beautiful pass off the right. Marked by Dalehouse in the middle. Picken cruises past him, kicks long to full forward. Ball bounces through to Kobe Stevens. Hand pass on to Gia, who missed it and socked it off the ground from a couple of metres and missed it and slapped the turf. Golden opportunity went begging.
Yeah, they've definitely had their chances, the Dogs. Walker kicks to himself and goes long. Don't like the kick. Boyd will cut it off. He'll play on with a handball to Liberatore. Now to McRae. McRae gets away from Murphy. 45 out. Left foot kick. He's hooking. It'll fall a little short in the square. Jones up in the pack. Couldn't mark. It bounced off his chest. Crumbs to Walker of the Blues. Left foot kick. Clears towards Casbolt in a one-on-one. Can't mark at the back. Easton Wood. It's coming back the Dogs' way. Runs a very long way. And from 55 back to the goal square. Dogs up the numbers, couldn't mark at the square. Stringer's there. The Blues will clear. Bad kick. Straight to McRae. McRae centres up. And the Dogs have it again with Cranberry. The kick from Rowe was a panic kick on the last line of defence. And McRae was a spectator initially. He became a key component in that kick.
But he kept his head, the kid. He could have had a shot at it with the pressures on. Composure, and he's given it inside.
Oh, Cranberry's missed. Cranberry's missed from 20 out straight in front. He poked at it. He missed to the left.
Gee misses one. Cranberry misses one. Just the pressure of the whole game.
Couldn't believe that. He kicked 4 goals prior to that, and that was an absolute sitter. Bell clears for the Blues up towards the wing. Robert Murphy puts pressure on from behind. Here come the Blues, diving forward. There's no mark taken by Waite. Crumbs come to Ellard. He puts it high. Here come the Dinosaurs. Leading the race is Warnock. With him is Minson. Minson gets there second and kicks straight to the boundary line. Gets away with it. Umpire says throw in.
He had nothing else. He had to toe poke it.
Heat Scotland thought he was having another shot at goal. It's to be thrown in. Warnock wins it down again for the Blues. Lucas got a hand to it. That was it. Boyd kicks to the wing for the Dogs. Rowe against Jones. Rowe gets there first. Handballs immediately defensively to Tui. That's okay. Tui's left foot centering ball is okay. Back to Rowe. Not 15. He's got to be quick, Rowe. He's been tackled. Oh, I thought it was holding the ball. No, play on. Ball now in dispute on the City wing. Players are down behind play as well. And the umpire will circle and throw it up. Rowe went to try and avoid the tackle from Stevens and put Stevens down.
Well, originally I thought Rowe cleaned him up by lifting the arm, but I think he hit him with his bicep and Stevens ran into him and came off second best.
I reckon it was the next one, though. He's had prior opportunities, beaten that one, then he got caught in the next one.
I think they allow...
Still let it go.
Well, I think they allow when it's that not 15 metres, they give them a little bit more leniency.
Crowd posted at 27,986. A boundary throw in on the City wing. It comes to Liberatore, who's slung as he gets his kick away. Mark not taken by Dalehouse. Comes to Murphy of Carlton. Hand pass out to Walker. He gathers, undergrounds the ball up towards the wing, and it is seen over the boundary line by this impressive first gamer for the Bulldogs, Bontempelli, number 4 draft pick. He's 18 years of age and is the cousin of Nick Del Santo. And on debut today, he's had 13 possessions.
Thrown in on the City wing. Falls to Lucas. Pumps a handball to Murphy. Handballs to Carazzo, who missed Walker. But Walker's got a bit of time to at least get a rush kick towards half forward. Waite's lurking there. Going back to the flight was Wood. Crashed the pack. Oh, it falls out to Everett. Everett darting towards goal. Centering one to Henderson, who marks in the square. He's not playing on. He's going to go back and win the game for Carlton. Everett running towards goal from the pocket, centred it up to Henderson, and Henderson from the top of the square. I'm going to mark it down. All eyes on Lockie Henderson. He comes in and gives Carlton's first win of the year. 5 to Lockie Henderson. In a terrific performance up forward. 5 goals, 3. And Carlton, 18-10, 118. The Bulldogs, 13-13, 91. And Everett did the right thing, Scotty. He saw Henderson leading to the square and he delivered.
Well, I think that action underpinned how they've gone about it all day, Carlton. I think they've played that high percentage game all day. First give, hit the right targets, centred the ball, haven't blazed. And I think that's, we talk about simple footy, and a team that does the simple things more often in a game of footy often win, and we saw that he didn't blaze. He gave it to Henderson. It was fitting that he looks to kick the winning goal.
The Blues have had a wretched week. They've had a wretched fortnight. They've had a wretched season, but they're going to break their duck here today. Here come the Dogs out of the middle. Run down from behind is Griffin, caught holding the ball just as he got to the 50. Levi Casbolt, the tackler, and goes back to take the free. He can take a bit of time. Turns a 360. Hand passes out the back door to Walker. Walker's kick to Scotland. Overhead, can't take the mark. Comes to Zhong of the Bulldogs. His hand pass in. Liberatore gathers under pressure. Hand pass to Picken. Hand pass away. Kicked down the line by Stringer. Is chopped off and it comes back from the Blues. Tui up towards centre wing. Running onto the ball is Thomas. He goes for a bounce. He sees green grass ahead. He holds it up and kicks to full forward. Wait! Marks in the pocket. He got him going. He kicked 3 goals before half-time, Jared Waite. No more since then. 3-1 for the day. They sent him back to the Magoos. He lasted there only a week, came back this week, and has paid his way. Near the boundary line when he starts. He kicks from 35. It misses to the near side. Through for a minor score. Shouldn't make a difference. Blues lead by 28 at the 25-minute mark.
So 8 goals between Henderson and Waite. As the Dogs will bring it back into play with a kick from Wood straight down the middle. Inside the centre square, Minson knocks it further on. Griffin tried to run onto the ball but got knocked over. Lucas coughs it up with a handball straight to Stevens. Off the ground by Gian Siracusa for the Dogs. Just fall to the wing, but Bell came from the other direction. Took possession of the football and kicks up towards half forward on the bounce to Henderson. He met it well. Handball to Bell that kept running to full forward. Poor kick. And Talia takes the mark for the Dogs.
So the Blues will get to sing their song after the siren. And the Carlton fans who came today have been well rewarded. Here's a tackle, a rugby tackle around the bootlaces.
Thin-legged, yeah.
And Picken will take a free kick against Daisy Thomas. Picken at half-back for the Dogs. Kicks towards centre wing. Minson takes the mark a few steps ahead of his man Warnock, who's probably beaten him today. The hand pass away to Griffin, under pressure. The hand pass to Jones, he was under pressure. He's coughed it up. Gibbs has it for the Blues. Kicks to Ellard, but Ling Zhong gets a spoil on the ball and gets it over the boundary line. Throw in right half forward for the Blues, who lead 119-91. Earlier on, Gold Coast beat Melbourne and the Adelaide Crows beat the GWS Giants.
There's a lot of very tired players out on the field for both teams, particularly the Blues, considering they're down to 1 on the bench. Murphy now for the Dogs. Handballs to Griffin. Now to Boyd through midfield. He takes the bounce, looks up, kicks to an open forward line. Oh, up goes Simpson. Dropped the mark from behind, but he's first to recover. The only one to recover as Stevens stayed on the ground. Simpson took 2 bounces, and he's deciding to give it to Murphy, who kicks to Henderson, who takes it on the half volley. He kicks into the middle to Casbolt. Handballs to Carazzo. Looks up. He kicks short. Doesn't quite get to Ellard, at least on the full, but he takes it on the bounce to full forward. Wait there with Talia. Talia with a spoil. Stays in the play. Talia falls to ground. Wait comes in. Free kick going to Talia. Wait, when he went to try and pick up the footy, actually jumped into the head of Talia. Dazed and confused at the moment, but he'll take the free kick. Last line of defence.
Blues have kicked 2 goals to 1 only in this last quarter. Earlier on it was a goal fest and we were absolutely loving it. But it's been hard, tough football in this last quarter and players are absolutely dog-tired. Here come the Dogs out of defence. The hand pass comes to Bob Murphy. And that was McRae getting it to him. Murphy's kick to half forward. Yaron whips in for the Blues to get a fist of the ball and see it over the boundary line. Welcome back, Carlton. They've done it tough here. Judd only got about 5 minutes on the ground. He got 3 touches. He started as the substitute and was off injured after doing a hamstring in the blink of an eye. But the Blues lead 119-91. 28 minutes played.
Thrown in. Minson wins it. Down to Bonampelli. Handballs into the path of McRae, who looks really tired. He gets tackled by Carazzo. The ball's not coming out. Now it does. Stays in the field of play. Boyd has it for the Dogs, rushes a kick towards half forward on the bounce, and it's coming back. No, not quite. White had the footy, but it went out of play for a throw-in. 70 out from the Dogs' goal. And what looking now, you're seeing a lot of tired players. Just the body language of both sets of players. Minson winning it down. June Syracuse overruns it. Griffin has it, handles it out to Liberatore, now to Boyd. His kick was not good though. It was under pressure, but straight to Mark Murphy, who's really made his own statement today for the Blues, coming up for his 28th disposal and has also kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah, really great after the criticism he had to cop during the week. And if you've got him in Dream Team, 137 points for Murphy. Little hand pass comes forward now to Liberatore, off to McRae. He floats a bad hand pass, intercepted by Walker of Carlton. He gets a hand pass out, kicked by White down the line. Chance for Lucas. Siren, the Blues have broken their duck. After losing their first 4 games, they've come out and won here, and emphatically by 28 points. What a game it was. They set it up in the first half. They kicked 13 goals in the first half and 5 goals in the second half. They led by 30 at half-time and ran out winners by 28. So the Bulldogs were able to hold them in, but Carlton came out of the blocks. They kicked 7 goals to 3 in the first quarter, and they added 6 goals to 5 in the second quarter to lead by 30 at half-time, and that proved to be a match-winning lead. 18-11, 1-19 to 13-13, 91. Boys, it was as much the way they did it as the fact that they did it.
Well, these wins are relief. Just pure relief. I know there's a lot of joy in it as well. Probably joy for the fans, relief for the players and coaching staff. But look, they set the tone early. They played real fast footy off half-back through the middle of the ground. From up here, we'll try and ask someone later on whether there was a real focus through the middle of the ground to get a handball received, running forward and getting it to their forwards as quickly as they can, because they realised or identified that they had a couple of really good mismatches down in their forward line, with a couple of Bulldogs being undersized as defenders. Look, they just set the tone early. I thought Wade and his ability to lead up, the combination with Henderson. Kaz bolts down there, but really doesn't have much of an influence in the forward line. But I thought Yaron's speed early, Allard's job on Murphy down back was terrific. Didn't allow Murphy to get the run that we know he can give the Bulldogs. But yeah, look, it was a really good performance. Tested as well, Carlton, in the end, having minimal players on the bench. But yeah, it was a real brave win, and what it does this season, only time will tell. 1-4 is a long way back, but they should get a lot of confidence out of the way just their game style. And I know, Stan, you just love the fact that they played up, they played on, they used the corridor, they run, overlapped, and got the ball inside forward 50. And the thing I was impressed with is their want to play one-on-one footy. Not give anyone the excuse to have a spare back so they can create overlap and run from the back end. They played one-on-one footy. Even when the Bulldogs put one back, they played with 7 forwards, which I think is a brave move, and they should be congratulated on that.
Well, to me, it's as much as the fact that today they played a brand of football that suited the personnel. And I think that this is an important thing. You can talk about the sort of footy that you want to play, but perhaps you may not have the personnel that are able to do that. But today we saw that the brand of football they play suited the personnel. And I thought that it was absolutely sensational. They just took them on, and that's what you could see. They just liked doing it. And I think Drew made the point. You could almost see that they were enjoying playing that way. Certainly that looked like Murphy and Gibbs did. And certainly it looked like Waite and Henderson liked it. There's no doubt whatsoever. And let me tell you, we like watching it. And the other thing I liked about the fact was that the Bulldogs were thrown the challenge and they came back. And they were terrific, the Bulldogs. But everything they threw at them, that Carlton had the answers. And look, the game was really in the balance from my point of view. And when the Blues were certainly a man down in that last quarter, and then Curnow was off, and it was just the game was up for grabs. Even though they had a 25-point lead, you just didn't know it was going to that last quarter. When Crameri kicked that goal, you knew that they were in it. Then it was really tough. Thought Scotland had a chance, and he played on and got nailed. And then I thought that the Bullies, any chance they had, he flummed one that was given to him. Then off the ground he missed it. And then Crameri just missed one. And then it was almost as if the wind went out their sails. And with Scotland and Henderson, who'd been a great player, just came back and kicked those goals. Then it was just a bridge too far. But a great game of football to watch. Scotty, you just said that deep down you don't think either coaches are going to like it. But I tell you what, the fans liked it. We liked it. It was terrific to watch. And the Blues, great game of footy. I loved every second of it. Just saw players at their merits. It was lovely to be able to see the ball kicked in long and players go for marks and players crumbing if it wasn't marked, and a great exhibition of our game.
And the Carlton players went to their fans. They were high-fiving them over the fence. Now they've disappeared down the race, and Martin Blake is in the rooms. I reckon it'll be a riot down there.
Drew, this is one of the great wins for Carlton, I reckon. Chris Judd's limping around. He had a long conversation with Mick Malthouse just a few seconds ago. The indications are just hamstring. They won't tell us any more than that. But Ed Curnow's here on crutches. I reckon he's got a broken leg, Ed Curnow. He's strapped up just below the knee on the right leg after that collision with the behind post. So they've done it with 2/3 of a side almost. And here they go. They're just pouring all the the sports drink on young Patrick Cripps, who's played in his first win. And Daisy Thomas as well. There you go. We're just about to get the rat-da-da-da-da. Actually, Daisy Thomas looked like he knew the words too. We'll be back soon. I think I'll have Lockie Henderson for you, probably the match winner.
He was great. Lockie kicked 5 goals, 3 here today. And, compared to what they've been doing earlier in the season, they kicked a cricket score. 18 goals. Their previous best had been 12 goals in their earlier losses. They kicked 12 twice, 8 and 7 in the last fortnight, and today they were 13-6 at half-time. So they released the shackles and played a great brand.
Well, I think the ability to be able to have Henderson and Waite in the forward line, look, whether you agree with it, whether you don't agree with it, Jared Waite, makes this team better. Had he played last week, they might have been, 2 in a row. What if, we can't guess, but he's a terrific player. But I think them working in tandem, one getting the exit kick from 50, one being the next kick down the line, just allows, or just makes the defenders defend. And I know that probably sounds funny, but when you've got 2 players hitting up at all times, you can't have drop-off. You always got to be defending them. And, I thought those 2 were just as influential at the start of the game as anyone. And, I hope we do get a chance to speak to Lockie Henderson, because I really would like to know what the focus of the middle part of the ground play was for the Carlton team, because it just looked like they wanted to go quick and get into them as fast as they can.
Well, their leading goal kickers up until today for the season had been Ellard and Yaron, equal with 6. 6 goals in 4 games. 2 little blokes. So big blokes come out. Henderson kicks 5. Waite kicks 3. Isn't that how footy's supposed to be?
Well, it is, and I know you'll go through the stats, Drew, but the Bulldogs had nearly 20 more handballs than kicks, and it just showed that different ways that they wanted to move it. Carlton had 200 kicks to 147 handballs, so they just kicked the ball. They kicked the ball and they honoured the hit up, and they did it all day, and it was pretty obvious from up here that it was a real focus for them.
Well, soon we'll get Lockie Henderson. Just repeating the earlier results today. Gold Coast have defeated Melbourne at the MCG by 8 points. The scrappy old affair. Winning score was 11-20-86 to Melbourne 11-12-78. So the Demons couldn't follow up their win of last week over the Blues with another win against Gold Coast today. So good win by the Gold Coast at the G.
Absolutely. I just wanted to make mention before we speak to Lockie just about Carlton's leaders that have been put under pressure for so long. Just from a statistical point of view, Gibbs 29, Murphy 28, Walker 26, Simpson 23, Carazzo 22. Now I know it's not all about disposals, throwing Scotland's 2 goals as well. Waits had kicked 3 and Henderson 5. So I reckon that's your 7 most experienced players at your football club who have been under a lot of pressure. All of them were significant contributors for the team.
Well, they set the scene first. I think
they did a lot of that early in the game.
I think they set the scene, and then the other great thing is that when they were challenged, and they were severely challenged. I mean, the Bulldogs, I thought, just threw everything back at them after being shell-shocked early and came back, but then they were able to answer it. Yeah,
it was only 3 points the difference since quarter time. So that was, and the Dogs missed a lot of chances. But Carlton still had to kick those goals in the last quarter to win the game.
Well, at the end of the day, the Bulldogs had 5 more inside 50s. So it just shows the efficiency. And look, stats can lie, because you can have inside 50 where it rolls 3 metres in and just gets rebounded. But Carlton's efficiency inside 50 to be able to hit the lead up, the high percentage player inside 50 as well, their ability to be able to play really high percentage stuff when guys are in a better position than the guy on the boundary was outstanding today.
You're right, Scotty. I mean, stats can lie and can tell things that aren't necessarily right. But I mean, contested possessions. Brendan McCartney won't be happy. Minus 16 there for the for the Dogs. But interestingly, the tackles. The Bulldogs, I think, had 9 in the first quarter. They've ended up with 72, so that was obviously something they addressed. But Carlton had 86, so even though it was a free-flowing game, 86 tackles in that style of game, I think, is a real big tick for the Blues as well.
And the other thing about a lot of those tackles are out in the open. Sometimes they're getting tackles when there's 20 people around the ball and it goes up and somebody grabs somebody. But today there were front-on, bull-on tackles, weren't they? It was, and a couple of times even there was when the bloke went to tackle, the bloke full on actually crunched him in the tackle. So they were just meeting head on. But in terms of stats, I mean, what about the stat where somebody gets the ball and chips it sideways compared to in that first bit when either a Murphy, a Gibbs, or a Simpson or a Walker comes running past the bloke who takes the ball in the middle of the ground, and he goes there, he runs and carries it his 10 or 15 metres and then goes bang and kicks it 60 metres to a tall forward. How do you equate that in terms of possessions? It's the quality and it's the way the ball came and where they delivered it from.
Yeah, we said yesterday in the call, about 10 minutes to go, there were some kangaroo players getting some cheap touches, and you talk about possessions and handballs and dream team point. There should be a time in the game where you go nut, or you kick it backwards, you don't get a possession.
Yes.
Just back on the tackles, one team's had 70 odd, the other team's had 80 odd. I think that's why we get so frustrated about this lack of decision making on holding the ball and dropping the ball, because we're seeing some really good tackles where we saw Chris Yarran. The attempt was there to kick the ball, but he dropped it. He just generally dropped it from his hand to the ground. That's dropping the ball. But because he's had the attempt to kick it, we're having all these tackles and we want our players to tackle, but we need them to be rewarded, because there's no use tackling if you're not going to get rewarded, because the only other thing you do is endanger yourself of getting hurt. So, the umpires need to start rewarding the tackler.
Yeah. So the there's been nearly 160 tackles laid today, according to the statisticians. The umpires probably played about 4, apart from those ones that were in the bottom of the pack and there's 19 blokes on you.
Yeah.
Well, pretty soon we're going to have Lockie Henderson from the rooms. I can't wait to find out what the atmosphere is like down there and the feeling in amongst the team. But I reckon Mick would probably have them in behind closed doors at the moment. And hopefully he's patting them on the back and saying, you not only got the points, but I love the way you had to go, and we released the shackles and you were great, boys.
Well, Mick let them eat in the interviewers in the aftermatch today.
If he's still chopping at the
journos. Is he going to trot out Sun Yat-sen's quote or something? What's he going to do?
He's very kind to his players. It's just us media people sometimes.
Well, I don't care what he says, and he put on a brave face. He'll sleep a lot easier tonight.
This is huge for them.
Yeah,
huge for them.
Massive.
Unfortunately, the down is Chris Judd. You know, is that the biggest headline, or the fact that they broke through and won a game?
Well, look, it's a massive headline because you know the risk in doing it, as we spoke about at three-quarter time.
You talked about this before the game.
Yeah,
the conditioning, the wrist, the soft tissue.
Yeah, because you just cannot get the workload, and the explosiveness that he plays with, you know, is just. It's just dangerous. It's dangerous for his own hamstrings and quads. Look, to be honest, I still wouldn't be surprised if it's Achilles. You know, he limped right from the three-quarter time huddle, and I don't often see players limp after a hammy, you know, unless it's a really bad one.
He did grab up high up near his shorts, though.
You know, just...
Is it too much of a controversial thing to say, Stan, that it is a big story, but it's not a big story because it's about Carlton... They're sort of moving on from Judd now, and I don't mean that disrespectfully because he's been an absolute champion, but today it was more about Murphy and Gibbs and these sorts of guys.
It's probably as much about the fact that he didn't play a major part in it. He's sure he was hurt, but they did it without him.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do that now because he's not going to have played too many more times.
Look, it's a terrible thing to say, but actually when he went there, I'm saying I hope it's a hamstring. You shouldn't say that, should you? I'm saying I'm hoping it's a hamstring.
Well, I saw Brad
to be
Johnson.
The lesser of that.
I saw Brad Johnson go through it, and it's just a nightmare. Yeah, you know, you think you're over it, then all of a sudden it reoccurs, and you know, you take a step forward, then you take two back, and you're right, Stan. I hope it's a hammy. I really do, because these are a bugger of injury, these Achilles, and you just wouldn't want recurrences of them.
Yeah, but Brad Johnson got hit by a golf cart.
We're hearing news that on the television coverage of the game that Judd, you could hear him say audibly to Mick Malthouse on the boundary that it was the hammy. Now, we didn't get to hear that audio, but apparently that's what he said to him. G is doing his lap of the oval. Tradition continues.
Yeah, the difference is as he's running around, he'll be thinking about that one that I should have nailed.
Well, he had two, didn't he? He had that one where he kicked it into the man on the mark, and then had that one where it was a hot handball that he wasn't able to take. And
the loneliness of the long-distance runner.
Now we can go down into the Carlton rooms, and Lockie Henderson is with Martin Blake.
Lockie just come out of the meeting with Mick. I imagine everyone's delighted. That's one of the great Carlton wins, I would have said.
Yeah, look, we really needed after 4 very down weeks, as you guys know. So it was a great win by the boys, and I think we're really happy.
Did you feel that it made much difference in the last quarter? You were down to one interchange at one stage. I mean, it was pretty heroic.
Yeah, look, I heard that about halfway through, and I had no idea. So we fought it out pretty well, and the boys were really good in that last quarter.
5 goals yourself. I'm not sure if that's a career high or not, but you certainly enjoyed playing up the front half today.
Yeah, look, it was good. The boys in the midfield really put in this week, and having Levi and Wadey up there as well. Wadey back was brilliant as well. So the forward line worked really well, and we're just going to continue that next week.
Well, the win solves a lot of things in footy clubs, but just a bit bittersweet tonight with Juddy going down just 5 minutes into his return. What were the indications? We thought it was a hamstring injury. Have you found out anything about that or heard anything about that?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure yet, mate. So he obviously didn't come back on, so we'll work out that during the week and go from there.
Guys up in the box for Lockie?
Lockie, congratulations, mate, on your 5 goals. We all up here thought it was a brilliant game of football, and I thought yourself and Jared Waite really set the tone for the team. Was there a real focus from a team aspect through the middle part of the ground or off half-back through the middle to get the ball inside 50 really quick to get one-on-ones?
Yeah, definitely. We've sort of worked on that ball movement during the week and over the last couple of weeks, and obviously it hasn't worked for us, and it worked for us tonight. And we'll look at West Coast next week and see if we need to slow it down a bit or we need to keep going fast. It'll be just a week-to-week thing.
And another pleasing aspect, especially from our point of view, is you maintain your forward 6, and even when the Bulldogs dropped one back, you actually went to 7 forwards to make sure that they didn't get a free for their run and carry, but also for the quick kick forward, you had a contest at all times. Was again that's something you really wanted to focus on?
Yeah, definitely. I thought the boys really fought it out today. They got a few quick rebounds. They obviously got Higgins and Murphy down there that are brilliant off half back. So we really made that a focus, and the boys really fought it out brilliantly.
Great effort by the team. The pressure's on. We talked about that, but I think there was probably none more than on your skipper, and he really answered it in emphatic form right from the outset, right to the last bell today.
Yeah, definitely. I even noticed. I don't really notice players very well during the game, but I noticed Murph a heap, and he was brilliant. And kudos to him.
The other thing was the fact that that right from the outset was the fact that there was and you talked about that ball movement, but the fact that players just really honoured the person coming from behind and the long kicks. I mean, to me, the length of the kicking today was a real obvious one. I mean, certainly if it needed the hit up and the short pass, but given the option and you had the choice, it seemed to me, no, we're going to kick long and we're going to back in the bloke one-on-one.
Yeah, definitely. I actually looked up at the screen at the end of the game. I think we're at 70% efficiency, which is pretty high, and I think we haven't been kicking the ball, especially last week. We kicked the ball really badly, so it was really good by the boys, and we've been training it pretty hard for a couple of weeks, so it's good to see something come from it.
I thought today, if you're going to play that brand of football and yourself and Wadey down there, that there would be a situation where at some stage the Bulldogs would probably use their ruckman and Minson to get back. I thought Robbie Warnock played a very smart game of footy today, because he kept dropping into that centre of the ground, and when it was honoured to him and it was kicked a number of times, I thought Minson got caught out. He was unsure whether to go back onto you guys or to go there, and just got caught in no man's land. And so in terms of allowing you to have more of a one-on-one, I thought he played a very pivotal role.
Yeah, it was. I only really noticed Minson a couple of times getting back, so yeah, you're exactly right there. And Levi Casbolt as well, he was brilliant in that little chop-out role with Robbie, so they both did really well.
Lockie, what was it like during the week? And, I mean, are you someone that reads the